I'm obese, shoot me in the belly.
Look at all the space I'm creating, everybody!
Bad monkey, bad monkey. Oh, you got baited so hard. I don't think I can handle any more of this bot gameplay.
Spylo.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Spylo. We're going to be doing some coaching today. Only one coaching session. Then we're going to be going into our roast by highlight. Then we'll talk about an ult charge discussion. True story, I had the idea for the ult charge discussion. I'm actually really excited about this one. While driving back yesterday, so I had to drop off Pepper, who is going to Tampa for a flag football tournament that I couldn't make because of work, which is sad because it's one of the few I've missed, but it's whatever. Anyway, I've been feeding myself, clothing myself, dressing myself, bathing myself, and needless to say, it's gone horribly, but that's okay. Anyway, long story short, I'm really excited for the ult charge discussion, and maybe if we'll have time, we'll do some Ask Spylo. If we don't have time today, we'll do it on Saturday because I see that Ask Spylo is kind of backed up just a wee little bit here. And as well, I was going to announce this weekend, but I'll announce it because you sweet juicies are here on stream. We have a collaboration this Tuesday. We have not this Tuesday, but I guess this Tuesday. Anyway, Skisty, you guys know the Mercy player, the Mercy content creator, Mercy streamer. We're gonna be collabing with her on Tuesday, going over a Mercy VOD review as well as talking about the state of Mercy balance. And if you want the real juice, we actually have a collaboration planned not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after Skisty with Jake Overwatch. We're going to be talking over a Junkrat VOD review and doing an interview about his life in esports prior to that. So Skisty and Jake the next 2 weeks. So fun times. That being said, today, VOD review first, and then we're going to get into all the fun stuff after that. So yeah, looking forward to these. First one is going to be fun because I'm really just looking forward to talking about Mercy balance, because I think Mercy is one of those heroes that we talked about needing a rework, but I don't really know where to start with that one. Not just, her damage was bad, res is bad, but also like actually figuring out like what to do from that. And obviously Jake Overwatch, he's my namesake. We're both Alpha Chad coaches, and so it'll be fun. Okay, let's get into our VOD review session today. I believe this is a Lucio VOD review. So far, replay codes have worked for me today, so bless. So let's hope that continues to move on, and then after Lucio, we move on from there. The GOAT Jake, yes. Hello, how's it going?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing all right. I'm getting your form pulled up as we speak here. So is this Lucio we're looking at?
Yeah, it's going to be Lucio.
Okay, what rank are you at?
I'm like rank 250 right now or something like that.
So top 500?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get my commands set up here. And then I'm trying to get this here. Okay, so what got you interested in coaching / what do you hope to get out of the session?
So I've done a lot of like self-auto review, and I feel like I can only get so far reviewing myself because there are some things that I'm still like hazy on. And I want to know like the more clear.
Okay, so you want to understand the game a little bit more from your the perspective of a coach. Okay, so break me down your, and this is the question I always like to kind of open up with, is break me down your past, your history with Overwatch. Like, when did you start playing? When did you hit GM? How long have you been GM? Are you organized? Are you playing in teams? How long have you been with teams? What do you think of Overwatch 2? I mean, I want everything here.
Okay, so I started playing in about season 10. I hit GM season 12, been GM ever since. Took a few breaks here and there.
Okay.
I never really played competitively in a team essence until last year. I played for Kennesaw State University.
Okay.
And now I'm looking to get into an OD team. I have a few trials and stuff like that coming up.
Okay,
so.
Cool. So is it just the opportunity of collegiate, and then you gave it and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty cool, I want to try this more?
Yeah, and then like, tuition just wasn't worth it in my opinion. So,
Fair enough. Okay, so what did you enjoy about team play, I guess is the question.
The coordination is what really like thrived to me. Like, being coordinated is something you will almost never get in a ranked experience compared to a scrim environment.
Right. Okay. Okay. And is it more of because I talked with somebody yesterday about this, and is it more of the game feels like it's being played the way it was meant to be played, or is it more along the lines of I just like being part of a team, VOD reviewing with a team, getting to know everybody better, or is it a little bit of both?
So it's like this is how the game is meant to be played, and like knowing that you can't get away with as many things compared to a rank environment and stuff like that is really fun to me. Like
Huh.
yeah,
That's an interesting way of putting it. So it requires that much more of a discipline to play it correctly.
yeah, and like you
Okay.
have to think a lot more about what you're doing.
Okay. Okay. Give me an example of that.
Uh, like say I have beat and they have something I need to save beat for.
Yeah.
A lot of the times in a ranked environment, you don't need to like hide or anything. You can just like kind of play with your team. In a scrim environment, they will hunt you down first if you're not like playing farther back, playing a corner, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Let's take a look at your goals here, because you're 250. Obviously, you're looking to get into OD. When did you start trialing for teams?
I'm currently on one right now, but I'm looking to trial. I have a trial for tonight for a pretty good one.
Good
I have
luck.
a trial. Thank you. And then I have a trial next week for a decent one.
Okay. Okay. And what's your long-term goals here? Because frankly, your answer, I want to be the best player I could possibly can be, is idealistic but vague.
Yeah. Yeah.
So explain that one to me.
So
By
it's
the way,
like
chat,
I want to
elbow
reduce
injury,
the number of mistakes that
lightweight lifting.
I make to
Thus
bare
the
minimum
dumbbell.
possible for me.
Okay.
That it's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
viable.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So it's
Yeah,
not
and-
necessarily Overwatch League, just getting better, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dream being contenders.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. Then let's look at your training schedule here. So that's an auspicious goal, right? So you've obviously, I mean, let's put it this way: how long have you been Grandmaster?
Since season 12.
So quite a while. That's right. You answered that earlier.
Yeah.
For a while. But this is like you've kind of eclipsed with the team play thing. What's the highest rank that you were in Overwatch 1?
Overwatch 1, I was 45, I think.
Okay, so
45.
about the same where you are right now in terms of
Yeah.
just raw mechanics or rank, but you want to go beyond that for the team
Yeah.
play aspect. Okay, let's look at your typical training week here. Scrim 6 to 10, so 2 blocks times 2, so 4 days a week, or 4 scrim blocks a week on average. Are the teams that you're trialing for, it's going to be about the same, or going to be more, going to be less?
It's going to be about the same. I think 2 days are double blocks, and I think we're looking to scrim 4 days a week, VOD 1. So it'd be 2 double blocks, 2 1 blocks, and then 1 VOD review day.
Okay, so a total of 6 blocks total for the week?
Yeah.
Okay, and and is that, I guess that's really like the next step for you, right? Because we're going from 4 to 6. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep looking through the rest of your training week here. So 8 to 10, 2 days a week. Oh, I missed the second part here. Okay, and then team VOD review, 8 to 10, 1 day a week. Okay, now you seem very specific about that, yet you haven't actually joined a team. Is that just like the general way most of these teams work, or what?
I was on a team for a little while, and that's what it was when I was on the team.
Right.
And so then going into this team, I asked questions to management and stuff like that. It was, what's schedule going to look like? Because obviously that's very important.
Right. And so it's basically the same.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then where does ranked fall into that? So we got your scrim schedule. That's going to be 12 hours a week. What about scrims? Or ranked?
Ranked, I try to either get in a little bit before or after scrims, debating on like how tired I am after scrims like that.
Okay.
Or
Okay. And what how often is that? Like you try to get a little bit, like be specific here. What does it generally look like?
So normally I play every day. Normally I play at least like 2-3 games every day.
Okay. Yes, usually before or after, just depends on how you feel in the moment.
Yeah. It's like, because I know I don't want to be playing exhausted because I'm not playing at my best performance.
Okay. So a total of around an hour of ranked a day.
Yeah.
And then a total of 6 scrims a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about 20 hours. And you want to get to contenders. Not likely.
Correct. Yeah, I know it's not likely. But
Okay, so what do you feel like are the things of What do you feel like is the next step for you? Because again, I don't want to throw you into a contender's work schedule, right? That's silly. I think the whole trope of work or dress for the job that you want is cute and all, but you don't necessarily need to be grinding like a contenders player right now. You just need to be grinding like a ranked top 100 player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what would that look like? What do you think? From what your understanding is, what do you think?
Probably just, I don't know. This one's a tough one. Because to me, it doesn't feel like it would be that much different. Just maybe a few less scrims compared to 6 or 8.
I don't think the amount of scrimming that you're doing is the problem. Not if you're looking to go to the next level. I mean, obviously, more team play experience, the better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what you're at now is you're 20 hours a week. If you're in contenders, you're talking 30, 35 hours, 40 hours a week, maybe more.
Yeah.
Now, more than that is probably seriously diminishing returns, but that's just where it is. So there's a middle ground here. And that's the next step for you, right?
Yeah.
So if that's what your goal is, I don't know if that's just like a dream or what, but that's what you need to go for, is the next step up. So if we go back to your current schedule, which is 2 or 3 games of ranked, 1 scrim. Okay, the scrim you can't control. But what's the next step for you in terms of your playing period, or in terms of your training period?
Win the ranked games, I guess.
Okay, win the ranked games? Okay. How about more ranked? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More ranked. Now, obviously, I'm not the guy that's going to tell you need to be playing 4 hours of rank per day, especially if you're playing a scrim. You know, you've got to consider your fatigue. You've got to consider like the return on your investment. But I could tell you also right now that 2 or 3 ranked games is not what a contenders player plays, especially when you're only scrimming once per day.
Yeah, I get it.
So what's the next step? Can you do 4 or 5? Can you do 5 or 6?
Yeah, I could.
Okay, so let's consider how you would place that. Let's say on a scrim day, okay, you don't want to burn yourself out. Let's say on a 6 to 10, right? You got a 6 to 10 day. How do you play ranked that day?
Probably play a little before, maybe even a little after.
What's a little before?
Probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours before.
Okay.
And then probably like.
I would say that's even too much.
Even too much? Okay.
Yep, too much. I would say 2 games, 3 games tops. Tops, aim for like an hour. Hour, just kind of warm up, mental mechanics. Go in, give it your all for 2 scrims, and then here you go. Ready? You're done. That's it. No ranked after. Okay. And how many hours is that? 2 scrims, one hour rank. That's 5, right? So that's a lot of hours of good hard effort, right?
Yeah.
That's great. All right. So you got your 2 days a week at 2 scrims. That's how it should look like optimally. If you were to do, even on a day where you're feeling a little tired, you just do 1 ranked game just to kind of get yourself warmed up instead of 2 or 3. Works for me. Okay, next day, 8 to 10, 2 days a week. How do you play ranked on those days?
Probably play ranked for about like 4 or 5 ranked games before scrims, maybe.
Sure, the same for hour and 40, 2 hours tops, probably. Yeah. Like almost like a replacement scrim, before that. So you're really, really warmed up, and then you still have enough energy to give it absolute all for one scrim, and then you're done, right? And guess what? Do you need to play ranked afterwards?
No.
You don't have to. You may play 1 game because it wasn't a double scrim block day, but you don't need to. That's still 4 hours of training, right? Okay. Yeah. So now we've got 5 times 2. So 2 days where you're doing 2 hours of scrims and 1 hour of ranked. And then 4 times 2, because you got 1 scrim and then 2 hours of ranked. And already you're almost at 20 hours, which is where you were before. Now, that's only 4 days a week, right? You got 3 days a week. No scrims, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you have a VOD review on 1 day. Let's just ignore that one for right now. So how much ranked are you playing in the days where you're not scrimming?
When I'm not scrimming, I usually play I play a lot more on days that I don't scrim, because I don't want to
What's a lot more?
I play probably about 5-6 hours.
Okay. I would say even that doesn't necessarily need to be as much, but 5 hours seems reasonable. So you're talking 5 hours grind, 5 hours grind, 5 hours grind, and then the days when you're scrimming double blocks, you got 2 more 5 hours, and the days where you're doing single blocks, you're only doing 4 hours. Is that enough training for you to take you to the next level, at least in terms of just the training structure, do you think?
Yes, I believe it would be.
I think so too. I think so too. Especially if the quality of the training is there, then I think you're good to go. Okay. So that's not,
Yeah.
do you know, so that's not even a major adjustment from what you're already doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little bit better, a little bit higher quality, right? Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Okay. Do you self VOD review? Do you VOD review at all? Just, and then elaborate on the team VOD review, how that usually goes.
So I self auto review if I feel like I played a game and I could have played better. Regardless if it's a win or loss, if I felt like I played not optimally, I will
Okay.
VOD review before I move on to my next game.
And what do you usually find in those VOD reviews? Give me an example
I
of.
find so the other day I did it, and one standout thing was I wasted my amp a lot. I used amp before I even we engaged in a team fight, so did it was just a really bad amp in general.
Mm-hmm.
Or my positioning, I wasn't playing relatively safe. I was playing really aggro, stuff like that, and I got punished for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is that more of you VOD review when you're frustrated from a bad game, or you just legitimately want to know what you could have done better?
No, I legitimately just want to know what I could have done better.
Okay, and then you say you do that after a couple of games, or maybe a particular game where felt you didn't play particularly well.
Correct.
So here's the problem. Okay, how about the games previous up to that point? Or did you have anything specific to practice until that game happened?
I usually try to pick one thing and work on it throughout the day.
Okay. So here's my question for you. Would it be more efficient if it's not a psychological balm where you're reviewing something that particularly tilted you, just kind of give you some sort of release? Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, we're all good. Then why would you not start the day with that?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Just something to consider. Because you say, oh, I have something to consider going into the game, but I think it will make it stick better if you have actually just looked at you failing or looking at the things that you are doing really well. Because you could also be like, hey, I'm also doing really, really good at this. Nice job. That's an important part of learning as well, is to know what you're doing right. But that's why I generally like VOD review to start the day. I mean, most Overwatch League teams, that's how they do it, right? That's why they do it, right? We need something to focus on, right? Now, there are exceptions to that rule. There were scrim blocks where we'd be really, really tilted because we were just getting our butts handed to us, and we'd take 10, 15 minutes to cool off. We'd come back, we'd look over a VOD for 10 or 15 minutes, be like, guys, look at us. Oh, yeah, what were we doing, And it's gives a peace of mind, you know what I'm saying? And that's really underrated. If you have a VOD review like that, go for it. 100% totally fine. But if you're looking for just goals to work on, that should be almost the first thing that you do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably look at your review, maybe then you 10, 15 minutes, look over a little bit of a game. Don't take too long, right? Should very short. Get into your warm up, get into your ranked games. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Do you have any questions with that?
No, it all makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and hopefully with this review as well, we give you some things to specifically look for that you can know to practice. But that being said, even after this review, this review should be giving you tools so that when you go into your ranked games or your scrim games, that you know what to look for in your own review. I don't want this to be the replacements for self-VOD review for 2 or 3 weeks. I want this to be the direction that you should be going when you're looking at your self-VOD review for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I plan to use this to look more in depth on self-VOD review of what I need to be looking for.
Excellent. That's exactly what we want to hear here. Okay. Let's keep looking here. Mostly Ana, Kiriko, Lucio, but to have team experience with all main support and flex support. That's weird. That's super weird.
Yeah, it's so what happened was I was a flex support player. When I went to Kennesaw State, I tried out for flex support. I got the position for flex support.
Mm-hmm.
Something internal happened. We didn't have a main support player, and I said, "Hey, I'm really willing to learn main support. I want to learn. I want to expand my horizons on how understanding the game as a whole.
Sure.
So I'll learn main support." And I learned main support for the team, and I ended up just playing main support. And I feel like the alt tracking, and stuff like that is very appealing to me in a scrim environment.
Okay. Why is that?
Because I love the thought that I have to always be thinking. I have to always be on my toe, and it's such a fast-paced thing. They have this alt, so what do we need to do different compared to if they didn't have that alt?
Right. Okay. Makes sense. So you and where are you now? Where are you now? What if I could say I could play any hero that you want? Would you be like, oh, I could play Lucio and play Ana, I kind of like everything, or is there really truly a role or a couple of heroes that you enjoy the most?
I can play almost any support at a relatively high level. In my opinion.
Okay. And you enjoy them?
I really do enjoy support a lot.
Okay, and there's no role that you enjoy more than the other. You kind of like both Ana and Lucio and Kiriko, but whatever, right?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
play Mercy, Lucio, Kiriko.
Here's the funny
anything.
thing. Back in the day, I would have kind of balked at that, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in the New Horizons. I think being flexible, but also being able to apply yourself, especially if you're a good communicator, like you talked about, like the ult tracking and helping out with that, and that being something that's really appealing to you. To me, that's a good sign, to be honest with you. I think what I would do is make sure that when you're talking rank specifically, that your ranked mirrors your scrim needs as necessary. So if you are playing primarily Ana or primarily Kiriko and a team, then you want to make sure that your ranked environment is grinding that so that you're able to perform with those heroes mechanically to the highest level. But there's also nothing wrong with going month to month and pivoting those heroes. You've heard me talk about dynamic hero pools before, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how that applies, and I think that's something that you could definitely utilize to flex to different heroes, but at the same time grinding those heroes when you need to grind them. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I respect it. Go forth and multiply. I mean, Luke Mino has gotten to where he's at for a reason, and I think we're going to see more supports. Look at support like Violet, right? Look at supports like Skewed. You know what I'm saying? Look at supports like Landon, right? These guys have really, really, really large support hero pools. And I think that's definitely something that even if you don't want to get to Overwatch League, that could be very valuable for a lot of teams. Okay, let's go to the last question here. What do you feel is holding you back? Well, I look at how did you hear about me, and I think that's the big one. You've been an avid watcher since 2019, so that's definitely not helping you. What do you feel is holding you back here? Not being able to assess what my own flaws are anymore. I have reached a point where I feel I can only get so far self-VOD reviewing. Okay, so that explains the coaching session. Do you want to elaborate on that one a little bit?
I feel like there's not much to elaborate about that. It's just like I'm not the world's best coach. I can look at like, oh, I died there. How could I have like not died there?
Okay.
Right. I think that's the easiest way to find out like how I VOD review myself. It's like, oh, I died or my teammate died. Is there anything different I could have done to prevent my death or a teammate's death?
Sure. Okay. Seems fair. And then we'll look at the micro here. Now, let me add one other thing that I almost never, ever, ever add when we're VOD reviewing somebody, but you've reached a point where this is going to be impactful. When you are playing in a team environment, we talked a little bit about your communicational role and like you liked the ult track. Okay. So how does that usually look? Give me an example of like an ult track and then what your team would do the information and so on.
So I think we're on Nepal. I forget that. I think it's called Village in Nepal.
Midtown.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh, I see. I'm an idiot. Go ahead.
I was giving a theoretical.
I got you. No, you're good.
So we're sitting on Village Nepal. It's a mirrored rush comp during Zarya meta. This is the best way I can explain it because it's the easiest way to put it in words. So say they have something like May Reaper or something like that, and depending on what alts they have, would we want to take the top path bottom right to point, or like left side to point?
Okay.
So like depending if they had like we're attacking, they already have point, right? So
yes,
we need to think about, okay, what ult do they have? Do they have May ult? Do they have Lucio ult? Do they want to engage on us as we're trying to get to point with May ult to try to catch us off guard?
Right.
So do we want to like try to? No, it all depends where you kite.
Right.
And like where you want to play.
You would describe almost the range of the ultimates dictating how they rotate. Like a Lucio May ult advantage means that a team is likely to rotate to point, whereas something like a BAP window advantage or like let's say a Sojourn ult advantage would mean that they play at a more sightline oriented, longer range. Maybe they rotate top, right? Okay, so what you're basically is telling me is you're not just talking about ult tracking, you're talking about taking that ult tracking and translating that into a plan. Is that something that you normally do within the team?
So it's something I've been working on. It's something that I find kind of difficult, but it's something that I want to work on and get better with.
I would say that that's an extremely admirable goal and has large ramifications for your ability to be a good team player. That's one of the most valuable skills a player can have in Overwatch League or contenders, is being able to translate the ultimates and the map and the situation and be able to come up with a good game plan, but at the same time also anticipate what the enemy team is likely to do, whether it's knowing when to clutch, when to flank, when to try and just play it safe, when to hold high ground, when to get close. You know what I'm saying? How the ults kind of like interact. And we're talking about self-VOD review. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about Micro. We're going to talk about Lucio. But I really strongly encourage you to continue to develop that skill. Look at Overwatch League teams. And one thing you could do is look at any Overwatch League team. It doesn't even matter the meta. This might be just good practice regardless over the last season. And try and pick a game that you haven't watched and try and predict how the teams play it and which ults they use and why. Even if it's just from the YouTube VOD, you know what I'm saying? That might be a good skill to build. That'd be something good to do in your own scrims, right? Okay, this is what we did. What should we have done, or what might have been a better plan? I predicted this, but the enemy team did this instead. Was that actually good from them? Would it have been better if they had done this instead? Do you kind of see what I'm saying? I find those to be some of the most valuable VOD reviews that you could do. And if that's something that you want to kind of take up the mantle for, then you need to be practicing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to get to that in this. You know what? What if we did get to this in this VOD review? I know is this a scrim or a ranked game?
This is a scrim.
So we can talk about Micro, but we can also try and predict what the enemy team does. Now, you probably remember, but we could talk about that a little bit. You down?
Yeah, and I know this is a fair scrim with this team. So it was like, this one might not be the best, like, for me. It's just us trying to get it together. But it'd be very good to, you're right, they talk it through.
Okay, let's do that then. Do you have any other questions before we get into this?
No, I think that's everything.
All right, let's get into it then. All right, so what is your responsibility as Lucio in this composition? Now, to be very clear with you, I've not coached much Ramach or gameplay. Okay, so you look at the comp though. What's your priorities, you think?
So my priority is just try to like deny the Winston of anything.
Okay.
Like permanently save my boop for his cooldowns. Try to displace him as much as possible.
Okay. Anything else?
Or also just peel off the tracer here and there.
Sure.
Like we have a Baptiste, so just like poke out the tracer.
Yep.
Try to force recall.
100%. Okay. Anything to do with speed, heal, or amp that's super important?
Try to either save amp for one of two things, in my opinion. It is either when our sim is full beam, I like to amp speed, or amp heals when my team is crit.
Okay.
But amping speed is probably more important because of the sim.
Right. Look at the compositional range between these heroes, right? Like you guys oftentimes are probably going to want to get somewhat up close with your Symmetra. Okay, let's take a look here. Just holler if you want to pause. Let me know if you have any questions. I did not mean to click that. Let's get the audio here set up. 1 second. Okay, I think we're good. And then just let me know if you have any questions, and we'll get started. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay. Are a lot of teams playing Ramatra in the scrims?
Not really, no. We end up switching to Orisa pretty fast, I think.
Interesting. Have you denied the Winston's jump?
No, I haven't.
Right. Have you been able to deny the Winston's jump?
Not that fight, no.
So then what's your responsibility right now?
Probably peel the tracer. It is on us.
Yeah?
And I didn't do it.
Right. Now, this is where you have to be honest with yourself. Like, you just didn't get the opportunity to boop the Winston. I think he actually messed up his jump. It just wasn't there. So why are we shooting Winston bubble? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many more important things to be doing at that point in time. And that's what kills you, right? That's what kills you right there. Okay. Now that's a low-hanging fruit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
All right. All right, where we go, Tracer, Orisa. I mean, I think this is probably fine. I think the Symmetra was pretty horrible versus this composition.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Same thing though here, right? Like, I think even though you're on Kiriko, whatever, you still want to try and mess up Monkey so he doesn't do as much pressure to whatever, and you still want to mess with Tracer. Now, here's the interesting thing here. Who do you think this Winston's going to be jumping most of the time?
Either me or Sojourn. If my Sojourn used slide, then my Sojourn.
Right.
If my Sojourn has slide, maybe me.
Right, so the question for me is going to be, are you going to be positioning on top of your Sojourn, or are you going to be looking to more kind of position for yourself and deny the Tracer? And I think there's an argument for both, right? So let's just see what happens. Weird amp. Was this somebody who's calling for help?
Yeah, I think. Oh, let me see.
Definitely a weird amp.
No, I think I just burnt amp. I don't think anyone was going for help there.
Okay, just needs
I
to
think
practice.
That was just
needs
a
to
blunder.
practice. I think for you, I mean, we've already seen 2 mistakes that you're like, oh, I need to work on my amps, and oh, I need to mark the tracer, and you've done just not what you know to do. So I think for you, obviously, we highlight these, but we don't need to harp on them. We just bring them up. We catalog them in our brain as skills that we need to continue to practice, but we don't need to harp on them over and over and over again. Okay. Who's your priority now?
Just probably peel the tracer off my Sojourn for the most part.
Right. Here's a question for you. Why is your priority Tracer? And why is it not Echo or Kiriko Mercy? This is a stupid question, but I think it's important to
It's just like, it's not worth having anyone else's attention on the Tracer when I can just shoot a few pellets, maybe force her her dash out or her recall out, you know?
Right.
It's like, we need the other two, our DPS, to damage actual important people on their team. Tracer's goal is to have people look at her.
Right.
The more people you have looking at her, the less resources you have.
It's a 1v1 game, right? How is your 1v1 versus an Echo or a Kiriko? Kind of sucks, right? It's annoying, right? But a 1v1 versus a Tracer, you're built for that, right? You might not be able to kill her, but you're going to prevent her from doing what she wants to do, so you take that 1v1. Do you know what I'm saying? To me, it's that simple. So like right now, your impact here is just marginal. Whereas if you look at what you could be doing, let me give you a little bit of perspective here. I'm going to cheat for you just a little bit. Okay, all clear. What should you be doing right now? You see?
Yeah.
Go with your Tracer. Swing out right here. Play with your Sojourn. Go out. You could. I wouldn't necessarily int here, but you could be firing pellets to this Tracer right up with your Tracer on the fire station, right?
Yeah, and you can take different angles. On
right.
people.
You get better vision. You get better pressure. Like your Tracer wins the 1v1. You could maybe get some chip damage on Mercy if that Tracer... No, that Tracer has no recall. This guy needs to die. You know what I'm saying? But look at where you're positioned, right? So I think... like, we could talk about off angles there. We could talk about pressuring the Tracer. But I think both, either way you look at it, like, oh my goodness gracious, like, this guy needs to die. Like, here's the thing. There's nothing to peel right now, is there? So go and control space. I mean, did you watch many London games this past season? And Al?
No, I didn't watch many London.
Okay. The way we won versus Dive, even though we weren't playing exactly a comp like this, was Admiral controlling space, dueling Tracers, dueling soldiers, controlling off angles, denying this. It wasn't just booping Doomfist and Winston's. It was also when that wasn't a threat, when that wasn't a problem, going out and 2v1ing a flanker. You know what I'm saying? And controlling that space. Okay, now my flanker has it. Now Sparker on the flank wins the duel, right? You're not. So I wouldn't describe it as passive, but I would describe it as static. You kind of see what I'm saying? It's not like you need to int over here, but you need to be controlling space better than what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and it's like, me existing over there with my Sojourn and Tracer is just infinitely better than not existing over there with my Sojourn and Tracer.
Right. Even from a raw healing standpoint, is your Orisa going anywhere? No. Does she need speed? No. How much healing is a 15 HPS return on investment on your Orisa versus a 15 HPS on a Tracer or Sojourn, right? You kind of see what I'm saying, right? The return investment is so much higher. This beats whatever, you know. Like it's totally fine. Win the fight. I think the logic there was totally fine. It just didn't end up working out. And there's really not a whole lot to go through there. I think the other thing for self-VOD review, right? We talked about 10 to 15 minute VOD reviews. Low-hanging fruit, right? The beat and gauge seemed reasonable. Okay, so let's do what we talked about. All right. Let's say your ult tracking is accurate. It probably should be. It's the first round. You're going to know that they're close to pull, so you're going to know they've got Kiri, and you've got what you got here. What's the plan?
So the call is that they have Rush. We need to save Amp to try to kite out of Rush.
Okay. So how are you going to bait Rush?
We're going to bait and engage, save all of our cooldowns, basically, and just start walking in. Hopefully they rush. If they don't rush, we take
Then what?
We take space for free.
Then what? You bait the Rush, then what?
We bait the Rush, we kite out. Usually we either wait it out or find another way to get to point. Like, say they rush main here. We might want to take
What's
left.
the best ult post-rush, given the map control that you guys will have? You kite out, wait out the rush, then push with what?
Overcall.
Kiriko, right? Or what else? Look at your ults.
Probably look for a pick with Pulse, maybe?
Maybe. I think Sojourn ult is a really good opener as well. Because you can walk out 3, 2, 1, push out, and open with Sojourn ult, get a heck ton of space, right? So that one's probably fine too. Obviously, Orisa ult's probably not the best opener in this comp. But I think either Kiri or Sojourn. I think Tracer is more dependent on the hero. Okay. Now, obviously, when you're ult tracking and planning these things, you don't micro when people use ultimates and all those kind of things. But that's something that's good to be aware of, right? Alrighty. Here it comes. We're calling the kite. We walk forward. We're posturing aggressively. There it is. Mechanics. Go next.
Yeah.
We don't care. And the nice thing about that, we don't care, right? We don't care.
We still got their rush out. We still got their rush out for a fight.
Right. You need to catalog that as I need to keep practicing this hero more, you know, or get more familiar with this map. But it's unfortunate. Go next. We don't obsess over it. Uh-oh. 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 You got a free engage. You know? Small thing. I know you're distracted by Echo, but sucks. Good. Yes, 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 yes. Nice. You didn't make the same mistake twice, right? Nice. Uh-oh. Ah! Nice. Okay. Reasonable. Alright. Now, obviously here, this point in time, you probably lost your ult track just a little bit.
Yes.
But like, let's say you're ult tracking accurately here. What's the plan? Look at the cart, look at the map, look at the ult charges on both sides. Tell me what you do.
Okay. So we know that they're gonna have primal. So I think I played a just hard peel primal almost. Trying to mess up his leaps.
Okay.
Peel the person that he's primaling.
Okay.
Give me a second. It's a little blurry right now.
Yeah, that's okay. It's
okay.
Classic
so,
Discord.
Yeah, we're close to beat. We're close to Abyssal. I think we played a bit out there primal. I think we almost always look for a second, like to engage after they use an ult.
Sure.
And then like after they use primal, maybe look our tracer can look for a sticky while their monkey's in our team.
Yep.
And then we look to. I don't really know if there's anything specific I would need to beat here. Maybe if just my team gets crit or...
Agreed. So I think obviously you need to be careful about beating into primal. So just try and peel it off without beat, and then obviously just look for an opportunity to either pulse or beat mid-fight, right? Or Orisa ult. Any of those. Just hopefully not all three. Okay, same thing goes with the Valk as well. All right, let's see how it goes. In the meantime, though, your priorities are still peel Winston, peel Tracer. Which one's more important right now, by the way? Peel Winston or Peel Tracer? Look at the situation. Look at the ults. Look at the map. Tell me more.
Probably Winston.
Why?
Just because he has primal.
Yeah, there you go.
If I displace him, maybe I can. If I displace him, he might pop primal early.
Right. What if he doesn't have primal? What if you guys are in high ground? He doesn't have primal, and Tracer has pulse.
Then Tracer's probably more important.
Right. You see. Seems reasonable. There's the primal. Nope. Not feeling this one. I don't see anybody crit. This is a 4v5. You force the primal. Your job is to live. Whatever you're using beat to just live, we're really sad about it. Unless it's like an Nanoblade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It needs to be either they use, like Kiriko, and we use beat to live that because it's freaking Kiriko, or it's used to count a beat and ult and allow your team to push with it at the same time. I don't like this beat. Okay. That being said, what do you think about your play up to this point? Booping the monkey, going back to point, peeling off the tracer, forcing recall, and generally not dying.
Seems pretty good. Right? I mean, yeah. I think I could have, hit a little bit better displacement on the monkey. Maybe force out primal earlier, but
seemed okay. And you're the pressure on the tracer, right? There you go. Ampa seems okay. Almost get the boot. Okay. Seems reasonable. Not the worst play that we've seen, right?
Yeah.
And remember, when you're self-reviewing, you're looking for low-hanging fruit. We're not obsessing over details. So you played reasonably well. I think you did your job, which is the really crucial part. The beat was the only questionable thing for me there. Okay, where's the Winston? Where's the Tracer? What's the priority right now? Okay, let's actually go back here. You should know that they have pulse. You see the Winston. What should you be thinking about right now?
I should be trying to find the Tracer and trying to peel her off.
Okay, try to find the Tracer, but do you necessarily need to chase the Tracer?
No, you just need to like shoot at her a little, maybe force some cooldown.
Right, shoot at her a little bit, exactly. I still think booping the monkey is still something that you want to be considering, but yeah, exactly. Awareness of your two things. There's the Tracer, okay? There's nice boop. We love to see it, right? Right now, what's your priority?
I should be looking for Tracer, but I don't think I am.
Tracer's dead.
Oh, then try to just look for a dive. My bad.
Sure, yeah, you're good.
Look for a dive on the Mercy with my Tracer, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I love it. Okay, reasonable. Surprise.
We saw her isolated, and I think we called it, and so we just collapsed on her.
All right.
And so, okay, I think after this fight they go Orisa.
I mean, they're on no Tracer here. So what's your priority here?
So it's just primer displace the monkey.
Okay.
Basically.
Displace the monkey, and then what?
Maybe try to take space from the Sojourn.
Ooh, okay. Maybe look for a dive with your Tracer, or look for a dive with your Sojourn on their Sojourn, right? Sojourn isn't a great matchup for you, but it's probably better than an Echo. And if she doesn't have Rail, something to consider. Let's you wouldn't do it by yourself, but you could do it you could support somebody else looking to do that. Here's a question for you. What's happening above you right now?
There's a Sojourn fighting above me. Sojourn Echo.
Something to consider. I'm not sure if I want you here or not. Honestly, like really, truly, I don't know if I want you here or not. But if your Sojourner was up here, I might. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Something to consider. This kind of falls. The reason why I'm bringing that up, even though I think you're positioned to find here, given the circumstance, is it's kind of like something that we wanted to consider. Like, was it first fight or second fight? When you the Winston peel? Oh yeah, it was second fight when I wanted you on the flank with your Tracer, right, rather than just kind of sitting there. That's something that you can kind of be looking to do, because especially when you have all these weird swaps, like they go Orisa, okay, now they're on Sojourn, no Tracer. It's not just simply I peel off the enemy team. You know what I'm saying? Your playstyle adapts dramatically in terms of controlling space, controlling off angles, and I think you need to look at each situation and decide what you should be doing. Okay, speaking of which, look at the situation right now. Look at the fight. Look at the ult plan. What should we be doing?
So we know we should, all tracking correctly, we know that they're close to Primal and they have copy. Right? Maybe I played to distance ourselves from the copy.
Right.
Try to deny her of getting any ult, depending on who she copies.
Okay, so what's the problem with your positioning right now, if that's the plan?
I'm basically right behind my front line.
Right.
Which is where she's probably not going to be.
Right, so you are very engageable upon. Amp speed. And in addition to that, do you see what you just missed?
Yeah, my boop.
You missed your boop. You were not in a position to boop where you knew he was going to jump, and so he gets a free engage, and it basically cuts off your kite path. The amp is also low. We don't get amp speed, we get amp heal, and we're beyond fortunate to even survive this.
Yeah.
Ha! This Mercy. Okay. We survived. But the funny thing is here is we're still basically in the same mindset. They still have Primal, don't they? So we're still kiting. We're still kiting.
Yeah, and I just wasted amp for it. So.
Yes, you did. Chasing on the Sojourn there, is that okay?
I think it is.
I think so too. There's always exceptions to the rule. If somebody's going to die, go kill the person. Don't worry about the boop and the monkey. Somebody needed to die. Ah, it sucks. I mean, we can always hindsight that one and be like, you should have been peeling off the Winston instead of chasing the Sojourn, because the Sojourn was going to die anyway, but that's very hindsight coaching, and I think what you did seemed reasonable at the time, so we don't care. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you roll the dice and you pick the wrong option. Maybe that Sojourn lives if you don't go help your Orisa. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think what you did was fine. It just didn't work out. Okay, ult plan. What's the ult plan here?
So I think that. And well, I think my alt track was that they have Kiriko alt, and I thought they had overclock at the time. So I wanted to save beat for their overclock, so we could live the overclock, and we're like live the rush.
Okay.
We wanted to open up with overclock ourselves to control
good.
Space, try to deny their rush.
Okay, or force it at the very least.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I like it. Now, obviously, this is like one of those exceptions to the rule, but just be careful, right? Did she mess up her TP? Yeah, she did.
She did.
Yeah, she did. Okay. Huh. I don't know if there's a lot to learn here, to be honest with you. Because their Kirikou just fed, and so that completely broke everything. You guys just completely pivoted your plan because you're like, this guy's feeding. And so, yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Do you have any questions so far?
So like I guess I think we'll see it here in the Orisa v Orisa matchup. I think I really struggled to know what I should be doing. Like because I feel like my Orisa doesn't really need speed, and should I just like hold off angles with my Sojourn?
What do you think? Think about it for a second. I mean, we'll actually look at it, and I'll give you my take, but think about it for just a second. So Orisa versus Orisa. Let's just do one quick thing really quick here. Let's completely remove all the supports, all the DPS except you, your Orisa, and the enemy Orisa. What can you do to the enemy Orisa?
Wait out her gold, maybe try to boop her in if she lets me get an angle on
Okay.
her.
What if you get a boop before she has gold? Before she uses gold?
We force out gold.
Right, or spin, right? You force out a cooldown with a boop, you displace her to where she takes more damage, you force a cooldown trade, and then you give your Orisa a cooldown advantage. Damage on Orisa is whatever, but that's probably going to be your highest return on investment. Okay? Your Orisa has a cooldown advantage. Their Orisa is in a pushable location. What do you do?
I think we just speed at their Orisa, try to like
What about
angles that our Sojourn and Tracer can
What
see.
about you? Just you. Just through your Sojourn Tracer. Cooldown advantage with your Orisa. What do you do?
I think I speed our Orisa in, then I go. It's just so difficult for me. Maybe peel my Sojourn if there's an echo, depending where she's playing.
Yeah, I wanted you to just isolate the Orisa versus Orisa matchup. I understand that there's a lot of factors here, but especially when you're working with something unfamiliar, a matchup that's unfamiliar, like especially like let's say there's a Ramatra mirror, right? What do you do in a Ramatra mirror? Don't worry about the DPS and supports right now. Worry about just the Ramatra mirror for right now, and then slowly accommodate one step at a time. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? So we can utilize our cooldowns to get a cooldown trade on the Orisa that's favorable for our team. Okay, that is one thing that we can do. Another thing that we could do is, like you said, assist your Tracer or assist your Sojourn and defending against the Echo Mercy dive or pressuring their Sojourn. All right. Now, I want you, as a Lucio, to understand that what you need to do in every situation changes very quickly. You know that, right? It depends on what the enemy team does. It depends on what they leverage. It depends on the map. All right. So let's look at this from your perspective and see what should have or what will be the right play in each situation, right? Just like the Winston comp, we said you need to peel Winston jump, you need to assist Tracer with her dive. You are asking me what's the right one to do, and I'm telling you there isn't an answer. It depends on what your team does and what the enemy team does. It's an inherently flawed question. Do you see what I'm saying? What if that Winston doesn't have jump? You have to look at the situation. However, you at the very least need to know what's on the list of plays. You know what I'm saying? Boop, the Orisa, peel, Echo Mercy, on my Sojourn, assist my Tracer. Those are your 3 plays, really. There's other exceptions as well, but those are the main 3. So all you need to do is know what to look for. And then decide which one's going to be the best option. Like right now, what do you think is going to be the best option right now? Do you think that your Sojourn, are you in a position to peel off your Sojourn if she gets pressured?
Somewhat, yeah.
Are you in a position to dive their Sojourn if your Tracer goes in hard?
No.
Okay. Are you in a position to deny or disrupt their Orisa if she tries to take space?
Yes.
So you're somewhat in a position to kind of do everything okay, at least. So are we happy with your positioning? Yes. Can you see everything? Yes. Let's see what happens. I mean, that's what we talked about, right? That's a dive.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the first thing we expected to happen, but that's what presented itself, so that's what she wants you to do. Now, you've used gold. They've used gold. Uh-oh. Now, what's the play?
So now that we know that their Echo and Mercy aren't with the other 2, or like kind of split from the other 2, because I just knew that I got stuck from behind.
Right.
We wanted to hard pressure the Orisa.
Okay.
Because we're effectively fighting at least, even if they rotate, at least fighting a 4v5.
Does that Orisa have gold?
No.
So what should she be doing right now?
shooting Arista, trying to displace her.
Right. You should be wall riding behind Ursa and booping her in. Right?
Yeah.
You should go. Like you should, yeah, like right there, but immediately. You know what I'm saying? But you know that because one of your jobs is irrelevant because the person's dead, and the other job is irrelevant because that person is not even worth targeting. Like the Echo is a completely MIA. So, okay. So far, so good. Now that's where really good positioning helps because you were in a position to do pretty much anything you wanted to, depending on what they did. I would stay on heal. Yeah, just stay on heal. It's good. It's good. A little bit of passive. Like unless you guys are trying to farm Kiriko ult first, which is reasonable, I would stay on heal. Okay, they complete the rotate. You guys hard match. Now, right now, what's your priority?
I think so, just try to displace the Orisa. Maybe
again?
look for the Sojourner with my Tracer.
Yes, again, exactly. Boop the Orisa in, force the fortify. I don't think she's fortified yet. Okay, she has already. Even if she has,
that's why.
Right, go ahead.
I think I'm looking for a boop right now.
Okay, let's see. How you boop away?
Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad play on me.
Yep. So you need to be on the wall. You might have gotten knocked back. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So we don't really care about what happened. We just know what you needed to be looking for. So this is reasonable. What do you think about what you're doing right now?
I think it's very dangerous what I'm doing right now because
Okay.
our Tracer's dead.
But is
I think it also.
But is it reasonable?
I think it's very reasonable because
I think so too.
Sojourner is dead.
I think so too. Is there any reason for you to be booping the Orisa right now?
Not really.
No, she's already at top of your team. So you might as well play like a budget tracer at this point in time. Maybe disrupt more, because your damage on the supports, disruption on the supports, will do more than the damage that you would have done to the Orisa, right?
Yeah.
So this is a mistake. You see this? In fact, the funny thing is you turning your back on these supports is actually more dangerous than you focusing these supports. Do you see what I'm saying? It's easier for that Kiriko to deal with you here. Ends up working out, and I don't think you're playing poorly. I think you're playing fine. But we're still considering these things because this is kind of like what we were talking about. Okay, so I assume you guys full hold this, yeah. All right, so let's talk about this old game wise. All right, you got ults here. What's the plan?
So I think we should try to rush first.
Yeah. Why?
Because we don't want to give them the chance to take any space.
Okay. What's the danger with rushing first?
The danger is with they don't have speed. That's why we want to rush first.
Okay. So they can't kite it out.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Keep going.
But the dangers to it is that they also have Valk and they have rush themselves, and they're coming up on a Orisa ult.
All right. So what's the big brain plan here?
So we wait for them to walk up as far as possible, and then we rush. And if we don't get the chance to rush first, we kite back with speed and then rush second.
How about this? Predict what their supports are going to do when you set up a really nice rush. What are they going to do?
Probably fall back, play cover.
Okay. Do you think that they can do that if you guys set up a rush with speed?
Not really.
No. So what are they going to do? Again, consider it from their perspective. I might be totally wrong here, but I know what I would expect.
I would expect a Valk if we rush.
I would expect both a rush and a Valk. Personally. I mean, I think they will immediately have to mirror and Valk. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
I feel like that's reasonable. In which case, what can you guys do?
Then we just kite back.
You could. You could. I'm
or
not
we
saying
fight.
that you have to.
We either fight in our rush, or we kite out.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we don't even get to that point. You know. Hey, there you go. You peeled off the Echo, right? Nothing else better to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're doing the questionable play.
Yeah, going through there.
There's the Suzu. Uh-oh. Now, let me ask you something. Could you have peeled off this Echo?
Yes, I could have.
How?
Maybe I couldn't have.
No, you couldn't have. You were in position to, but your Sojourn just gets annihilated.
Yeah, it gets full stock and then beam.
Were you in position to peel off Echo? Yes. Were you in position to dive backline? Yes. Were you in position to mess up the Orisa cooldowns? Yes. but there was no opportunity to. The Orisa walks forward and uses both of her cooldowns. The Echo just immediately one-shots your Sojourn. The backline's inaccessible. Nothing you can do. Right? Nothing you could do.
I feel like what I could do here now is I could have went over the train and look for the supports maybe. Like try to like...
Maybe. I think with the ultimates...
Like, I feel like beat's too important to like do that with.
Yeah, I think so. Well, you guys are working in a Kirikou right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just use the Kirikou. You're fine. That was scary. Not gonna lie. Love it. Helping your Tracer out. Now what? That amp, first off, sucks.
Yeah, that was awful. I effectively amped nothing.
Yeah. And this is also insanity. Where's your Tracer?
To my left.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Killing me. Alright. We survive. What's the plan? They have made it through the choke. You have Orisa ultimate. You have Sojourn ultimate. They have Kirikou. What's the plan?
I think the plan is we try to, depending on, especially if they're pushing over here, we plan to Orisa ult them before they even get the chance to rush.
So you're just going to blow them up. So then what's your responsibility? You have two ways of playing this.
So personally, I like to try to boot them back into our Orisa ult.
Great.
I wait out Suzu, then I try to boot them back in.
Love it. Okay, that seems very reasonable. I think your other option here would be to dive backline, but I think or boop the Orisa in to create. But I think that's probably the best plan there. You're killing me. This is not what we want you to do. You should have. I mean, if anything, you should have gone over here. You should have been going with your Orisa and then explode out into the Kirikou, literally into the Kirikou, and boop these guys out to here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
If anything, is it a risky play? I mean, beyond yes. I mean, unbelievably yes. But at least that makes sense, right? Okay. Is your Orisa going? Nice. That's what we want to see. Scary, but at least it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. One more fight. Nothing really to say here. You guys will have ults, you'll use ults, you'll win the fight. You know what I'm saying? They don't have anything, you guys don't have anything just yet. Just play the fight. We go back to what we were talking about at the very start here, right? Boop for Orisa, cooldown advantage, dive with your Tracer, peel off their, or prevent their Sojourn, whatever. Or peel off your Sojourn. Pretty much the same thing, even though their heroes are different. Now this is where you should absolutely be doing what? You have two options here. What do you see?
So I could either go help my Tracer with their Tracer.
Okay.
Or I could boop the Orisa that's walking forward right
You
now.
should be riding right here, booping this Orisa out to the open. You force spin, you force fortify. You probably actually force her to immediately spend a point, which is not what she wants to do. Or, like you said, helping your Tracer. Those are your two options. You are doing neither. Okay, looks good. Amp probably not needed there as well. I mean, it seems okay to kind of use it mid-fight. It's probably going to get value there, but maybe not the best use of amp. Okay, so wrapping this all up in a nice tidy bow, what are you seeing here?
I'm seeing that I'm in the position to do things, but I never like successfully do them a lot of the times.
Okay, give me an example of that.
Like a lot of the times I'm in position to boop their Orisa in, or in position to boot their Monkey in, whatever their tank. And then I just boop them out.
Right.
The exact opposite of what we want.
Right. I would say that for the most part, your positioning was pretty good. You were setting yourself up in good positions to kind of control space. I liked it. But yeah, I agree. What else are you seeing?
I saw that my beat usage was very questionable.
Okay. What else did you see? I'm going to keep moving quickly through them. Amp usage? Okay. Yeah. What else?
Amp usage, positioning, beat usage. Just like not knowing which one of the three I could do, maybe.
Sure. Or how about this? You need, obviously, nobody's going to know which one of the three you're going to do at any point in time. but it's setting yourself up to be in a position to do one of those three and then quickly making the decision. And then, oh, shoot, I made the wrong one. I'm going to practice that again. I'm going to try that again. You know what I'm saying? And that's why ranked is important, right? Because you're going to be able to make similar decisions to these, even though it's not exactly the structured team environment. And then when you get into a scrum, this is absolutely what you should be practicing. Now, let's tie each of those individual little things up in a bow, all right? Because we said we critiqued a lot of what you did, but we didn't really give you any action that you need to be doing when you play rank, when you play scrims. Let's start with the very first one. Doing what you not really do, being in a position to do what you're supposed to be doing, but not really doing what you're supposed to be doing. How do you improve that? What do you need to do?
Just proactively be doing one of the three. And if it's wrong, you learn from it.
Okay, so how do you do that? Do you think about it ahead of time? Do you think about it in the moment? Do you need to work on just grinding the reps? This is something that you could do. How do you build this practice?
You think about it ahead of time.
Yes.
And then it's weird. You have to combine playing in the moment and doing it planning it ahead of time.
Yes, agreed.
Because it's all based on what cooldowns they use, where they go.
Yes.
Where my team is.
And that's a very specific thing you can practice, can you not? I'm going to practice thinking ahead of time what I need to be doing versus the comp versus the situation, and practice doing it and making those calls. There you go. That is something you can actually do. It's not like some vague, I need to work at this, or my beats are questionable. That's vague. Speaking of which, let's go on to that. Your beats are questionable. Okay. That's not very helpful, is it? How do you practice that?
Yeah.
Let me think back to the beats that you did. Sorry to interrupt you, but think back to the beats that you did. What was wrong with the beats that you did?
I feel like they just didn't get used because I used them either like way too early. I used them when nobody was critical. I used them before the fight even started sometimes.
Right. So how do you fix that? Or improve that. Let's not say fix that, because you'll never fix it. How do you improve that?
You improve on that by just like trying to save it a little bit longer. Save it until we need it, really.
Okay. Pay more attention to your team's cooldown situation, risk of threat, risk of death. Yeah, exactly. I mean, beat is a really rough one. I mean, everybody Ajax, Funny Astros Ajax, Violet, everybody Ajax. It happens. Everybody beats too late or beats too early. I mean, it happens. It's just the nature of having a channel ultimate and a really high value support ult. But yeah, okay, that's a very actionable thing that you could practice, right? Okay, let's keep going. What was the other thing we talked about? Your amp usage? What about your amp?
Yeah, amp usage I could use a lot more during the fight compared to like before the fight when I'm just taking a little bit of poke. I get scared. I think when I get scared, I hit E and I amp. Okay. So, like I see someone on my team that's critical, and I hit amp before the fight even starts, so we don't have any like speed kite usage or burst amp healing.
Okay. Anything else that you see that we can make actionable? We've got 3 nice little things. Is there 4, or do you think 3 is good?
I think 3 is good.
Okay. And what do you think about your planning throughout the course of this VOD? I don't know how you did it in the VOD, but right now, how do you think it was?
I think it was pretty okay. There's definitely things to be improved on. Because it's very map dependent. I think Midtown's relatively an easy map. It's very straightforward for the most part. But like I said, things like Koth maps, I think is a lot harder.
Yes.
Because there's different like lanes. There's different lanes you can choose.
Positioning is less unilateral, right? There's a lot of options for how you position or how you set up or how you rotate, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. I think you did very well with your planning. I think you did very well. I think especially considering like your team experience is not like ages and ages. You've been in Contenders for 6 years. You did a really good job. Obviously, in the moment, when you're thinking about a lot of other things, and under pressure, it's going to be a lot harder to come up with quality plans. But I think you did a very good job, and that's something that you can also practice. If we were to add a 4th thing, that is something you can also practice. And by the way, that's a super underrated skill for ranked, because obviously you can't tell your team what to do, but you can anticipate what the enemy team will do, and that will affect how you position. You kind of see what I'm saying? So even if we're not even considering just because obviously, I'm going to use my amp to kite out, or I'm going to use my beat, that may or may not work, right? But what you can do is go, they have primal versus they have pulse. You kind of see, remember that discussion that we had and how that affected how you played? That's something that you absolutely can do in ranked. And I highly recommend you practice that, because again, especially in days with no scrims, you could be practicing your team play way, way, way ahead of time. Okay. 4 things to practice, 1 at a time. And again, we're not looking, I guess the word fix is really just a horrible word for me to use. It's not about fixing, it's about improving, right? You're never going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. It's impossible to be perfect at this game. It's impossible to even come close to approaching perfect when it comes to decision making and cooldown usage. But there's improvement here, options, right? Do you have any questions?
No, I think everything was relatively straightforward.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. So do you know the replay code rule?
No, I don't.
Okay, so just shoot me a replay code at any point in time in the next week, 2 weeks, month, 2 months on Lucio or any other hero that you might be practicing at that point in time. Give me a couple of timestamps, 3, 4 timestamps, whatever, and be like, hey, what should I have done here? Or what should I have done here? Or what do you think about this? Did I throw the lobby here? Or where should I have been here? Or what's my responsibility in this composition? Or, or even we could even do ult plans, right? Like what should be the fight plan here? Or like it's a completely different matchup. What should be the fight plan here? Especially when we like start incorporating like Orissas and Ramatras. It's weird, right? It's weird. Like we haven't practiced those heroes a lot. So I think having another set of eyes might be able to help you out, and I'll get back to you within a couple of days. Sound good?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, and then obviously if you do have any questions, just message me anytime. All right, mate, good luck. Remember what we talked about with practice at the start, not necessarily adding a lot of volume, but adding quality volume. And good luck with your tryouts, all right?
All right, thank you so much.
You're very
welcome.
welcome.
For everything.
Keep in touch, you're very welcome. Cheers, mate. See ya. All right, that was Two Fish, the top 500 Lucio Extraordinary. I hope you guys find that one good. I always enjoy reviewing a very, very high rank player every now and then. We get a nice little bit of insight here, and I think it's also fun too because we get to kind of dig deep to not just talk about like basic Lucio positioning, but also just about the macro of playing the game. Like how does this work? How do you position versus this? What ults should we use there? So I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, you missed a really good one. I also had a really awesome VOD review off stream. So for those of you guys that don't know, the reason why we're streaming later now, this is kind of a pivot I made about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where I'm shifting more of my VOD reviews off stream. They're not private coaching, so they're stream VOD reviews. I'm recording them and posting them on YouTube for anybody to see. However, I'm not streaming them, so then when I go live on stream, you guys aren't sitting there for 3.5 hours waiting for the discussion and chat interaction. I want more of my actual Twitch stream to be more chat interactive content and not just coaching sessions. Anyway, long story short, I had a session before this one off stream that I recorded. Will be on YouTube later on. That was really good here. It was a Wrecking Ball review. We had a great time, so I'm looking forward to uploading that one on YouTube and you guys checking that one out. Okay, let's do this. Let's do our Overwatch highlight thing. So I'm gonna get. Here's the deal. So in my ! Discord, there is a channel called Overwatch Highlights. And in that channel, you will post your highlights. And in those highlights, or on those highlights, I will comment. I will laugh, I will make fun, and I will tell you whether I think they were good or whether I think they were bad. Now, here's the thing. Before you get too self-conscious and too scared, yes, I'm going to obliterate you and make fun of you. However, I don't necessarily... Now, obviously, higher-ranked players generally have better highlights. However, we have a very important category called pizzazz, all right? Or am I pronouncing that correctly? Maybe I'm not pronouncing that. I honestly do not know how to pronounce that correctly. Is it pizzazz? 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 I don't know. Pizzazz pronunciation. Chat, I'm scared. Pizzazz. Dang it. Can I pronounce it pizzazz? Pizzazz just sounds so much better.
Pizzazz. Pizzazz.
Dang it, chat. I'm saying pizzazz. I'm an idiot. Okay, so pizzazz. Oh, it's so much worse. Okay, so we have mechanics. Pizzazz. Ugh, sounds so American. And we have smarts. So how intelligent, how big brain, how much of a prediction was it? Now what that means is actually we had several highlights from like silver, gold, plat games that got ranked really highly. So don't feel like, oh, I have to be top 500 to get a good highlight. No. And here's the other thing, chat. I'm going to say it one more time if you guys haven't seen the YouTube video on this. The number of people that you kill does not make it a better highlight. We had a lot of 1Ks and actually not even kills that were actually really pretty funny because they were just executed really well. So this is not just about like the objectively the best Widow because you got a 5K with Widow. I mean, obviously that's going to be a rated highlight, but also just cool, interesting, funny, amusing, humorous, delightful, entertaining, and sweet, succulent juice, right? All right, so I got my whiteboard ready It looks horrible. It's like the most washed out red ever. I'm going to use blue. We're rating on a scale of 1 to 4. So 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Sometimes we use the 0.5s in there, but 1 is the least, 4 is the most. I think we had, what did we have last week, chat? Was it like a 10.5, I think? I think one got like a 4, a 3, and a 3.5. It was the Ramatra pulling the Pharah and her ult into a wall and killing herself. That was really, really funny. So let's get started here. I feel bad, chat, because I'm only going to do the highlights starting yesterday. I might actually just start today because I want to do the, I'm going to do the highlights starting today. So the highlights that were posted today are getting in here, and I'm also going to try to limit to only 1 highlight per person. So again, !Discord, Overwatch highlights channel. Let's take a look at these right now. Okay, 180 W180 sleep on Lucio, no hacks, please no report. Highest Spylo. Is there too much echo, chat? Let me know if there's too much echo.
Keep fighting.
What? Okay, so we have to factor everything in here. I'm sorry, this is just how we have to do that. Okay? First thing first, that nade is hilarious. What the heck? How did you hear the Lucio? That's disgusting. I love the fact that you literally just die to make sure that you get the clip saved. But that sleep is disgusting. What the heck? What? Okay, so what do you guys think? What do you guys think for mechanics? I think mechanics, that's like 3.5. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it could get much better than that. That's unbelievable. Okay? So really, it could definitely get better than that, but like that's unbelievable, all right? A little bit of luck, obviously, but we don't care, right? Pizzazz, that's pretty flashy too. So I'm gonna say like 2.5, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I think smarts, the sleep on the Lucio isn't exactly very impactful, and the nade before that, and then dying for the clip. I mean, we really not that smart. So I'm gonna give this a 1.5 for smarts. But I think we have a pretty decent clip here. I think objectively here, 7.5 seems reasonable. Yeah, I think that's a good clip. I think a good clip is anything from 7 up. You know what I'm saying? That seems to be the case here. Okay, so nice sleep, 3K Genji Overwatch moment. Jokes on you, highest follow. I'm not even gonna click it. Get RKO'd, peasant. My Ryan would be able to diff peak super. Don't believe me, just look. Okay, my
I have a
body's prepared.
plan. All right, come with me. It's
When
a
I get
very
back, we'll execute the plan.
yeah. I know. I have a plan. So watch this.
You know, actually, I'm gonna put the headphones on so I can turn this up just a wee little bit here. Me die to get the teabag in? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I must have missed it. Was there actual teabagging going on there? I remember I had this dream when I was an Ana player of like when I was like first starting getting into Ana. I was like 2-star bordered. I was like, you know, silver. I was like, bro, I'm gonna sleep dart somebody and then I'm gonna do the pillow spray every time. It's gonna be so. But then I realized that like, and then I'm gonna do the emote. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wait, that takes too long, and I'm gonna die to the person. It was my dreams were shattered.
I'm gonna look at their Ryan and just see. It's the plan.
That works.
You're an idiot! You're an idiot! What is wrong with you?
Come with me. It's
When I
a
get
very
back, we'll execute the plan.
yeah. I know. I have a plan. So watch this. I'm gonna look at their
Overwatch
Ryan
1.
and just see. It's the
That
plan.
works.
I mean, it's always boring the line between just absolute alpha Chad behavior and absolute P brain. And honestly, sometimes I can't tell the difference. So mechanics here, let's be real. Nothing about this mechanics is actually that good at all. Pizzazz, all right, look, I'm gonna be real. I don't like this clip because you just should be ashamed of yourself, but I gotta give it some credit where credit is due. We'll give it a 4 for pizzazz. I'm sorry, that word is just awful. It's just, and then smarts, yeah, we're gonna give that one a 1. A 1. You're getting a 1. okay? I have not given out a 1 for smarts yet. Congratulations, you've hit rock bottom, and then I handed you a shovel and you dug a little bit, you dug a little bit further. So technically it got 7. So good highlight, technically, right? In the terms that technically you're an Overwatch player, but you're not a very good one at that. So, okay, despite I look at these on stream, I'm not a big Twitch guy. Geomaster, okay, Geomaster Farah, what do we got here, Geomaster? We'll have audio, Giphy Cat. Alright. I just feel so naked without the highlight music. Going to make... Ooh, okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. So let's watch this one again. That's right. So direct. That one wasn't that hard. I mean, that was good shots, but it wasn't that hard. This as well was not that hard, but that little flick there was pretty good. So I'm gonna give that one. I give that one a 2.5 for mechanics. I give that one a 2.5 for mechanics. I might be able to give it a 3. You know what? I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna give that one a 3 just for that last rocket on mechanics. That was a pretty good rocket. That one was a pretty good rocket. Pizzazz. I mean, it was smoky, but nothing like super flashy, fancy. So we'll give that one 2.5 again for the mid-air rocket. I mean, some mechanics are just really flashy just because they're juiced. You know what I'm saying? What we kind of see what I'm saying here? Why am I talking like Boston? Okay, smarts. I mean, there's nothing really intelligent. It was a play. That wasn't stupid. It was fine. I mean, I don't know, 2.2, I guess, just 2. I mean, smart is a tough one. Like pizzazz and smart are tough because I wouldn't say you get penalized for being stupid because there's nothing stupid about the play, but there wasn't anything spectacularly smart about it either. But here's the thing. It's a 7.5, so again, technically a good clip. You know, this has actually been pretty impressive. All the clips that we've had so far have been relatively good. Spilo, I'll have you know I got GM. Yeah, sure. That and other fairy tales I've heard on stream. Okay, why is this in Overwatch highlights? Chat, should I just watch this? Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, let's keep going. Overwatch 1 highlight. So wait, I'm sorry, where are you? Oh, so you're just in your backline. You didn't know the Roadhog was there. It can be a clip is fine. It doesn't have to be a highlight. What blocks on Twitch? What are you talking about? Okay, so getting flanked by a Roadhog at that range is a little silly, not gonna lie. And you're staying next to the Roadhog despite not having cooldowns, which is also silly. But then having the audacity to 1v1 a Roadhog and then teabag the Roadhog in a ranked game while your team is dying. No. Oh, bless me. What is happening? All right, chat. Mechanics. I mean, you slept the Roadhog, all right? And you missed a couple of shots. So 1.5 in the mechanics. Smarts. 1 again. Okay. However, this is why we have the pizzazz. The pizzazz 4. And if I could give you 4.5, I would. All right. So almost a good highlight, despite the horrendous gameplay that we've seen here. The sheer fortitude, let's put it that way, that it took to do this play. Another thing that happened, yeah, that's one way of putting it. Well, I would not say well played. Shame on you, but okay. I create the future. I see the future. We got 2 highlights here. You know what? You know what, chat? Let's do this one. Oh, nice shot. The not so nice shot. Okay, so don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. The reason why you hooked here, you pea-brain, washed up, absolute degenerate of a Roadhog player. By the way, that's kind of redundant here. I could just say Roadhog player and the rest would be implied. Is that you thought the Mercy player was going to walk out of the corner to pocket the Zarya. It was a prediction hook, okay? The fact that she flew out this direction was complete luck. So this is a great example of a prediction hook that ends up looking a lot better than it actually is, but it's actually not that good, right? It just looks good. So for mechanics, let's get, you know what, chat, here's what we're gonna do. Let me considering you're a Roadhog player, let me consider this one objectively here. I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised by this ranking here. Factor in the fact that you play Roadhog and this is what we call a Roadhog player's rating. Okay? And I know I'm not being objective here, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing this for the children. Okay, main take experience here. I can't hear a gosh darn thing. Block Roadhog hook, please. There's the Valk. Ah, that's unfortunate.
Behind.
Ah, yes! Overwatch 1. That being said, you got hooked, slapped, and flank shattered. Listen, these guys were so... Okay, I'm sorry. Can we just appreciate for a second what's actually happening on our screen? Because you guys are missing the most important thing that's happened here. These guys killed a Pharah, used a BAP window, used a nano boost on a Roadhog, and this entire time, there's been a Reinhardt in your back line. There's a flanking Reinhardt. That Reinhardt was literally AFK during a BAP window and a nano boost. And you guys didn't even realize he was missing? Hello? And the worst part about this is this isn't even a ranked game. This is a scrimmage or a pickup game. Did you guys just feel like that Reinhardt just disappeared? He's behind you. He's hiding. They've used 2 ultimates. You've had about an hour. And you don't realize that he's not there? Wait, is this quick play? This is a quick play stack. Oh, even worse. I feel disgusting now. Get it off me. A quick play stack. And you don't even track that there's a missing Reinhardt behind you. So much so that they use 2 ultimates. And you still don't know where he is. Shame on you. Main tank experience, yes. So obviously the pizzazz and the mechanics don't matter here because this is a low light. But Chad, we're gonna introduce a new number here. You guys might be familiar with this one. Smarts, 0, a 0. That's not even supposed to be possible based off of the own ranking system that I created. 0. You've been hit in the head too many times with a hammer. Okay. I just love the fact that the Eva team used 2 ultimates with a flanking Reinhardt, and the Reinhardt just had to wait them out. It was just like, well, one of these days, okay, I'll get the shadow here. Okay, almost there, right here. All right, ball. Okay, ball. Why is it so quiet? Did I turn it down? Oh, it is a little quiet, I guess. All right, what do we got here? Is this an Overwatch 1 clip? What is with the Overwatch 1 clips? Everyone's like just carting out their Overwatch 1 clips. All right, you put down mines. You grappled and rolled. You boop. You shoot. I mean, it was all... Okay, that was a 6K. I mean, a 6K with the ball is pretty impressive, I'm not gonna lie. The mechanics here aren't that impressive, but I think you get some points. I said the number of people that you kill doesn't matter, but if you get a 6K with ball, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll give credit where credit is due. So it was not a K. That was a 6K. I mean, okay, it was technically a 5K killing blows, but listen, he killed 6. Listen. Tech double kill. And she said it, right? So mechanics, we'll give that one a 2. There's nothing really impressive there outside of you did manage to roll through the team. Pizzazz, I'll give that one a 3. Nice job. Smarts, the mine placement was really quite good. It did a really, really good job splitting them off. The grapple past hook was good too. The boop location was good. I don't know if it was on purpose, and then booping back in was good too. I mean, it was all right. I mean, I don't think it was. It's like Geomaster's Farah clip. It was not unintelligent. I think we're gonna squeak by with the 7 here because it was technically a 6K, which is pretty cool. But you know, we don't see that one every day. Let's keep going here. Okay, Guardy. Oh, bless me. Ah, it's loud. Now, see, you guys have baited me. We've turned us all up, and now I'm deaf. Have you guys ever been to like a youth basketball game? Like I'm talking like 8-year-olds. You know? Or for you EU, you know, backwater people, have you ever been to like a youth football game, you know, where they're kicking around the ball and half the time they're running the wrong direction? You know, and you're like, oh, nice job. Nice job, bud. You did it. Good job, buddy. Right? And but it's more along the lines of you're just trying to be encouraging for the poor little fellow. You know what I'm saying? Or even better, when you visit your granny at the retirement home, and she's a little bit senile, and you're like, "Oh, good job, Granny! You built the puzzle." They have basketball in EU. Sure, yeah, right. They don't serve beer at basketball, so there's no way. Look at, hey, Guardy, nice sleep dart, nice job. 4, 4, and 4. That's the highest score we give. Good job, buddy. Nice job. Ow, that fell on my foot. Nice job, bud. Your mother and I are real proud of you. Good job. Good job. Nice try. Well done. You slept the nano blade. Nice job. Yeah, you could do a 1 minute. So as long as it's not longer than 1 minute, I don't mind. 1 minute's fine. Flanking Ash in scrims.
Bob, do something.
More Overwatch 1.
Do something.
It'll be the death of me. Wow. That was something. Clam! Missed this is dynamite. Ah! Oh no! Okay, all right. Mechanics. All right, you hit a nice shot on the tracer. We'll give you a 2.5. Pizzazz. I mean, we're gonna give you a 1. No, we're gonna give you a 2 because it was a nice shot on the tracer. But you looked a little silly. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of panic settling in. And smarts, we're gonna give that a 1.5. So you somehow miraculously squeak by with a 6. But that was something, okay? That was like me playing Ash. Okay, maybe it wasn't that bad, but yeah, that was something. Not the most pizzazzable clip I've ever seen. Why is this doing this? you guys get to see a brief image of a picture I'm using for my next thumbnail. Using the nerd emoji. Whenever you guys look at my thumbnails and you just see like, what is this thumbnail? It looks like somebody just vomited some meme there and threw red text on it. That's me. Those are my thumbnails. The ones that actually look good are not mine. Okay, let's keep going. Stalker, yo. Am I missing something here? Oh, well, that was like the world's longest build-up. Okay, well, I mean, that was cool, I guess, but it doesn't matter either way. So, Stalker, you could do better than that. Mechanics. I mean, it wasn't even like your mechanics are bad, but there's just nothing represented here. Pizzazz. 2, I guess, because hey, you stopped the Junker Queen, and smarts 2 because you stopped the Junker Queen. But we can do better. You can do better. You know what though? We'll give you a 5.5, but I'll give you a nice try sticker. What is the Bart Simpson meme? At least you tried. I give you a kiss on the forehead and a little pat. Okay, let's clean some of these up here. Wait, Rado. I know that name. Has Rado already submitted a clip? No, Rado has not submitted a clip. Never mind. Well, that kills the point. Wait, wait, what? Am I smoking something? Did I actually skip ahead? I'm an idiot. Wait, how did that... What? How? Wait, does a Junkrat mine them in? How do they get there? I see them on the left side of my screen. But then they just kind of like materialize here. Oh, they get primaled. But where's your Winston? Your Winston's not even there. I swear there was like another boot from the other side. Who's your other DPS? No, I guess not. Okay, so I guess they just ran in. I feel like they just like materialized on the Roadhog. I'm not blind. I'm just saying that it seemed really fast. It seemed really odd for the Kiriko and the Junkrat to be here and then just zoom over here. But they just do. They just run over. I don't know why they run over, but they do. So, and the BAP or whatever. I thought they got like Junkrat mined or something and that launched them because I was like, I see no reason for them to go on coast. It was something, I guess. My favorite part is the beat from the top ropes, right? And you steal the primal kills. So I'm thinking, listen guys, thieves are not full of Riz. You know what I'm saying? Let's put it that way. Mechanics here, 1.5. Pizzazz, we'll give it a 2.5 because, you know, triple. I'm giving it a 2. You stole the boop kills. Smarts, 2, I guess. What's a banger quote? What did I say? I don't even know what I said. 5.5. Disrespectful. Shame on you. You did nothing. I'm still giving you a 5.5 because it looks cool in the kill feed. And for other POV, okay, so 1 clip with 2 POVs. Boy, this is high effort. Okay. And Overwatch 1 again. This clip better be good. That was interesting. And Valk canceled too, I think. That's pretty funny. Okay, mechanics are completely irrelevant here, so we'll give it a 2, just because whenever anything's irrelevant, it gets a 2. Pizzazz will give a 3. Smarts, it was just lucky, so we'll give it a... You know, actually, what's the rest of the clip here? I want to watch the rest of the clip here. It really wasn't smart to pen there, so I'm gonna give it a 1.5. It's an okay clip. It's a 6.5. It's close to a good clip. GM lobby, but luck. Yeah, well, you'll live with it. Thieves are not full of Riz. Yes, that's right. I'm like Dare. You know, drugs are not cool. What does Dare stand for? Drugs are really evil. What does Dare even stand for, chat? What does Dare stand for? Dare, drugs, drug abuse resistance education. I prefer drugs are really evil better, but I'm like Dare, but the cool version. Guys, do you want to wear pajamas and Twitch stream video games? Do you want to hate your life because you're video editing with Sony Vegas all day long? Do you want to run around and have a Napoleon syndrome being 5? Then join Spylo stream. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Okay. Winton. Boy, that just never is not funny, isn't it? Winton. Haha, get it, guys? It's like Winston, but dumb. Punching Mercy in the face, jumping for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and missing your landing damage. Primaling absolutely nothing whatsoever, and for no reason whatsoever. Bare minimum primal juggle, going to their spawn, primaling them back out again. Oh, congrats, we did the bare minimum. The second half of that clip was okay, but the first half was giving me like Nam flashbacks of some of the worst play I've ever seen in my life. That's whatever. Why are you jumping here? What is wrong with you? Like, he's dead. He's dead. Why are you primaling? Why? Why? Oh. That was okay. That was all right. That was all right. Drugs are really epic. Yeah. Drugs are really edible. I never got offered drugs as a kid. I don't know if I was just growing up in the wrong neighborhoods or what. Mechanics. I will give this one a 2.5. There was a couple of decent juggles here. Pizzazz. I mean, honestly, just no pizzazz here. Like, it wasn't unpizzazz, but it wasn't super pizzazz. We'll give it like a 2.5. Kind of low. You know what? Actually, we're going to give it a 2, honestly. It wasn't that pizzazzable. Smarts here. I really don't like the primal being wasted, nor do I like the but I do like the boop end, so we'll give it a 2.5. It's a good clip. It's a 7.5er. Not even alcohol. No. No, I grew up with really good habits. It's disgusting. Okay, let's keep going here. 800 IQ C9 Lul. Okay, subtracting 5 points for the Lul, and then we're gonna continue to go.
No, I got man.
Ah, it's my ears. Overwatch 1 clip. Weird voice.
I know me. I know me. I know me.
Can't tell if like somebody's stomping on his foot or front man for a K-pop band.
Did that?
Nice. Hi, Brian.
No, we lose this.
No way.
I have not all. I got it. Oh my god, what?
Oh. Oh.
Did that?
Nice.
Oh. So the mechanics here are a little shaky. They're not bad, but they're a little shaky, you know? But the Riz
I have not all.
and the smarts here too, the timing here. Look at the timing here. He waits, then goes. That was not an accident. Woo! That was a good one. That was a good clip. That might be the best one we've seen so far. So mechanics, 2.5. Shot on Widow's okay. Your Masters, but nothing besides that. Pizzazz will give that one a 3.5. Smarts will also give that one a 3.5. Man, chat, 9.5. That's almost the highest clip that we've done yet. It's the highest one we've done today. That's pretty nice. That's a good clip. 9.5. I think 9+ is a great clip. And I think we got our first great clip of the day. That was clean. Nicely done. Oh no. So I'm talking about shaky mechanics, and this guy is literally just lurking for me in the shadows. Calix has probably been in deathmatch for like the last 6 hours. I'm gonna DM you my battle tag. Add me. Oh, this guy. I'm going to make this guy pay. I don't even know how I'm gonna do this. Is there a custom game mode for 1v1? Chat, what's the do you guys know like the does anyone know the SATA 1v1 one on Legion Tower Control Center? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? This SATA where you like spawn as random heroes in the control center. I see 2 codes. Which one is it? I'm not showing you my ranks. Wait. Which one is it? TCXX? Okay. TCXX. Wait. TXCXX. Okay. Let's actually save this one here. SATA. Alright, chat. Whatever. Hang on a second, I gotta turn my audio up. Oh, boys. No, I missed!
The bullet.
Holy crap! Ah! Helix abuser. Oh crap, crap, this is not balanced! What? Why am I playing this as a tank? No way! What am I supposed to do?
Not leave a broken world behind.
No, I choked. No, I actually had this one too. No, I'm still gonna have this one. No! I got it. No, I'm choking again. No way I choked this. Chat, that was way too close to a major choke. We're just gonna let this guy sleep it out a little bit, and just for the BM, a little bit of time to sit. Okay. No. No, we can wait that out. He's gonna push me. I sweat. All right. So here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to watch this. See? See the big brain there, chat? I knew he was going to recall, so there's no point. No! Oh Oh my goodness! Who is this man? Wait, what happened to the sleep duration? What? No, I'm not gonna melee. I'm not that guy. Oh. Just. No, 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 no. No, this guy is ratting out major. I don't want to sleep this. I don't think I need to. No, I egoed. Ah, crap. Oh, crap. No, chat. No, chat. No. Oh my gosh. This is probably one of my worst DPS heroes. Oh no, I thought I was in soldier. No, chat, my lead! What? What? Oh, this is bad. He's gonna have dash again. I could. Oh, I'm a horrible tracer. No pulse needed, no pulse needed. Maybe a recall, that's not a good look for me. Bap is actually really strong in this mode. Oh wow, I got deleted. Crud. Watch this, guys. You're not gonna believe this. Crap. Oh no, the mirror. What? He's gonna push me in. Yeah, there he is. No.
I will not leave a broken world behind.
Okay, okay. Chat, I'm so close. We can win this. We can win this. Okay.
A testament to my skill.
Okay, we're off to a good start here. Gotta wait out that Sonic.
By the time you go,
I should have hit this. Oh, I'm an animal! No! Not Doofus! Dude, like, he takes more damage. What is up with that? Oh, that was a nice move. Shoot. No! I was so close! I'm so washed, Chad. I'm so washed. Oh, I'm so bad. Oh. This guy just gets play the game too. Dang it! Dang it! It was horrible. I was so close, chat. I was so close. Okay. You guys didn't see that. That was a low point. I can't believe I rated this guy's clips so highly. Let's keep going here. A pop tracer 5K. All right, let's go. Well, by the way, we've moved past that. Anything that just happened here didn't happen. Okay. One of the biggest chokes I've ever seen, bro. I was choking so many there. So many there. You guys have no idea. It's Metal CV.
This ends now. You're delivering.
Why recall? I mean, okay, whatever. I guess you use ulting. That was pretty good tracking. Mechanics are okay. I mean, it's a good clip. It's a good clip. It's a good clip. Oh, more clipping here. All right. Stop. Okay, mechanics. We'll give it a 2.5 at points. It was all right. Besides, it's a 5K, so we'll give it a 2.5. Smart. It was a 2. There wasn't anything particularly smart about it. It's a good clip. It's a 7. It's a good clip. Thank you, Metal TV. Yes, it's a good clip. There was nothing special about it, though. I'm about to not get copyrighted for this foolishness. What is this punch anthem? I'm gonna mute this before I go deaf out of choice. Okay. Well, that shot was a shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. Nice shot. I love the motion blur on every shot. That really sells it. Okay. I like the NaCl. Isn't that salt, chat? Isn't the molecular thing for salt? Oh, that's a nice transition. It's so hard to see. Ooh, that's a nice stick. Oh, that was a good shot. That was an okay shot. Bonkers. Nice. Oh, that was a really nice pulse. Pulse bumps and like one of the shots in the Widows was really good. I mean, it's a highlight reel, so as opposed to a single clip, the chances of having a higher mechanical output is obviously higher. So like, even though there were a lot of really good shots there, it's like a bunch of the best of the best of the best chained together. So I'm only gonna give it a 2.5 on mechanics, even though it feels like it should get more. Pizzazz, we'll give it a 2. Smart 2. It feels harsh, but like you have to understand that you can put the best of the best, and if that's the best of the best, I think the shot, some of the pulse bombs, it's almost a good clip. I think it was okay. It was okay. It was okay. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh on that one, but I also think that I'm being a little bit harsher because it's a 1 minute long highlight reel where like naturally you're gonna have more stuff there. What is this? I'll give the mechanics there a 2.5 because it actually is pretty impressive that you were able to hit that. Pizzazz, 2.5. Smarts, I mean, there's nothing smart about it. You just spawnated. We'll give that a 7. 2.5, 2.5, and 2. You're in Masters 2 Peak, and that was your first clip dump ever? That was a pretty good clip dump for a first highlight reel ever. Unironically, that was pretty good. Ah, the raid boss returns. Oh gosh. The real Biggie Cheese. Oh, this is Overwatch 1. Yeah, I'm not even rating that one. I'm not. Out of duty to my kin and country, I'm not rating that one. Not rating it. Get lost. The plat magnet is real. Oh, I'm like, the plat magnet? How do they know about that one? Oh, it's Varashi. I've talked to you about the plat magnet. All right. So you guys don't know the plat magnet. The plat magnet is when you have the enemy team who you're shooting and you're like, blade, right? And you're just like sucked in, right? So let's watch Varashi slowly press W as a sniper. Da, 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 da. This is nice. Nice. I wouldn't say that's the plat magnet necessarily. Oh, that is. I was like, where's the plat magnet? There it is. There she goes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, where is it? This seems all reasonable here. It's a 6K, I think, right? Yeah. 1, 2. All right. Well, the mechanics there aren't amazing, but we'll give it a. Well, you know what? We'll give you a 2 on mechanics. So it's okay. It's not bad. It's not good. Pizzazz of hitting a 6K 2.5. Smarts, we'll say the flank itself was really good, but then dropping was really not good. So we'll give it a 6.5. It's almost a good clip. However, it's almost a good clip because it's carried off of the fact that it's a 6K. But besides that, there's nothing super great. Big dad aim. The funny thing is the funny thing is Varashi's aim has gotten so much better since then too. Maybe that's just me. Audio warning near the end. Oh my gosh, that is loud. Oh my gosh, that's actually pretty funny. Check it out, chat. He deflects the Cassidy into the enemy Genji. Let's actually check out the mechanics here. Nothing really mechanically impressive. I mean, you did track the Genji. So we'll say mechanics here. 2, inoffensive, nothing here. Pizzazz, definitely a 3. Smarts, I think it was more of an accident, but we still got to give it a 2.5. That's a good clip. That's a good clip. That's pretty funny. This is what we talked about, chat. I know it's not objective, it's just me being subjective, but I do like unusual things like that more than you think. That's pretty funny. All right, top 10 anime battles. What am I looking at here? Wait, how? What? You just froze. Well, you just slid. What is going on? Blade him. Do it, you coward. What? That is bizarre. What? Alright, mechanics, like, we're gonna give that a 1.5. Pizzazz. Give that one a 3. Smarts, I guess a 2.5 or a 2. I mean, it's kind of dumb, but also kind of funny in a smart way. That's a good clip. That's funny. That's hilarious. That was one of the clips of all time. Alright, Lockie, wrong time to clip. Alright, I'm ready to be disappointed.
Wrong time to clip.
Oh, it's a time. Oh, I millied it. Clip. I millied it.
Wrong time to clip.
Get RKO'd, kid. Console player be like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. All right, mechanics here. The tracking. Okay, the Junkrat's an idiot, right? Obviously. However, I think let's actually check the tracking on the. I can't believe I'm saying this. Check the tracking on the Riptire, chat. That was all right. We'll give that one a 2. Inoffensive mechanics. Pizzazz, definitely 3 for humor's sake. Smarts. I mean, honestly, it's a good clip. I don't think I had anything else to it. You know what I'm saying? 7.5. Actually, you know what? We'll give that one. Actually, we're gonna subtract a smart point because the whole point of the thing is that you're an idiot for clipping it. It's actually playing the game. So, still a good clip, but only marginally so. So, the clips are actually fairly good. They're about as good as last time, maybe even a little bit better. I think on average the clips are better than last time. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Choppity choppity, missity missity, zoomer, not ooh. Ooh! Oh, he's 1 HP. She's 1 HP. She's 1 HP. Oh! Dang, that ability is satisfying. I'm not gonna lie. That's up there with like Roadhog Hook. That's a little tragic. This is a nice flick here. You hit the 2 perfect targets. Great knife. Great shot into the melee. Good shot again. A little bit of the teabag. Another 2 great shots in a row. I don't know, chat. That's a pretty darn good clip. I like that clip. That's juiced. That's a juicer. Can't see her health. There's a spiral in the middle. Okay, she was 1 HP. Just take my word for it. That's a good clip. I would say 3.5 mechanics. A 3 for the pizzazz because we got all the knives and we got the bag. Smarts. I don't know. I mean, that was a pretty smart play. That's a good clip. Oh, you can look at the health up top too. Yeah. That's a 9.5. That's a great clip. Great clip, so we can get your haircut, right? That was a great clip. Nice job. Love that one. Monkey is fun, all right? My body is prepared for this one as well. All right, what do we got here? Zap. Shooting the fortified Orisa. I mean, I guess there's nothing else you can shoot. Now you can shoot the Reaper.
I'm not gonna lie, the Deducto a little like strong in the kind of was a little hard.
That was a good juggle. That was a pretty good clip. That was a pretty good clip. I mean, the juggle on the Reaper was good. The half an hour shooting the fortified Orisa because there's nothing else to shoot wasn't exactly clip worthy, but it was all right. You know, we'll see mechanics. We'll give that one a 2.5. Pizzazz, nothing really fancy there, but it was all right. We'll give that one a 2. I guess the juggle on the Reaper, we'll give that an extra point. Smarts, it was fine. Give that one a 2.5. It was an okay clip. Give that one a 7.5. 3 mechanics. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a 3. Either way, it was a good clip. 7.5 or an 8. Yeah, blocking the map. That's true. We'll give that one an 8. All right, last clip, I guess, y'all. Last clip. That's pretty funny. I love the Doomfist, like, as he's slamming. Look at him. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Mechanics here weren't really a factor, but they weren't bad, so we'll give it a 2.5. Pizzazz there, I think we give that one a 3. Smarts there, we'll give that one, keep that one at 2.5. So yeah, another good clip. 2 good clips. Okay, so on average, what do you guys think compared to last week? Better clips, worse clips, the same? Compared to all the clips today, where do you guys think the overall average fell? About the same, better. I think it was a little bit better. Yeah, I think last one there were too many clip dumps, whereas this one felt like they were more like amusing, funny, clever, interesting clips. I think it was better. I think the submissions were a little bit more in line of what's more fun to watch, so that was good. I think they'll become more Overwatch. I don't mind Overwatch 1 clips, honestly. I'm giving you a hard time, but I don't mind it. It was good. We're improving, guys. We're improving. You know what I should do? I should end every session with me showing you one of my clips. Do I even have anything recently that's worth clipping? Let me see if I can find anything. I don't know, because I use like shadow play. Oh, this is pretty funny. Pardon my mechanics, but you guys will find this fun. Here we go. Ignore the mechanics there. Nice shot. I'm the greatest of all time. Then I get ulted and I'm like, crap. I know she has knife. I juke the knife there. Oh. I thought I was gonna have to hook her. I didn't even hook her. She just fell in. Trying to think if there's anything else here. I mean, that one's okay. I might show you guys one or two more if I get any good, if I get any good ones here. Oh yeah, this one's fun. You guys want to check this? This is great. Check this one out. This one tilted the crap out of me. Watch this. You see this? Watch. Check it. There's something to do with a javelin plus a sleep dart. Straight up just doesn't sleep. It says put him to sleep, but it doesn't sleep. Annoying. I don't know if this is a good clip or not, honestly. I clipped it, so I don't know if it's good or not. Yoinkies! Alright, I lied. We're gonna do one more clip, chat. We're gonna do one more. I'm gonna find one more good one, and then we're gonna end it with that. And then we're gonna get into our ult charge discussion. And that one tilted me. We lost that game. No, that one wasn't that good. I'm really setting the bar high for y'all. I gotta make y'all proud. I'm leaning in towards humorous things. I showed you the headshot bug. That one's pretty funny. That one's not that good. That one's not that good. Hang on, chat. I'll give you like... No. Come on, there's gotta be something funny here. This one's pretty funny. I think. Oh yeah, you guys could check this javelin I hit on this Kiriko. I'm the red Orisa over here. Check this one. Boink. That was pretty funny. All right, that's all. Let's move on to our next segment here. So, here's what we're gonna do. Rate my own highlight. I'm not gonna do that because I don't think the numbers go high enough. Let's talk ult charge. Okay, so here's the thing with ult charge. There's a lot of little cute details with ult charge that you can kind of exploit and that are good to be aware of. Now, I'm going to be honest with you that this chat is going to be, or this chat, I guess this discussion, this chat is going to be rather broad. where there's going to be some things that are good to know for advanced level players, and there's going to be some super basics that most of you guys already know. But I would like to go through the hero cast, and I would like to talk about each hero and different ways that they provide free ult charge, and that they provide that you can kind of abuse them to get a little bit of extra ult charge. And there's a couple of them that I think are really impactful. Now, what I'll try and do is when I edit this into a video, I'll prioritize the really important ones at the beginning, and then worry about the less important ones later. So the first one that you need to know of, and by the way, this is a discussion as well. If I miss any, let me know. The first thing to be aware of is when we're talking Ashe, right? Consider where is free ult charge when your team is playing. And by the way, this is against and with an Ashe, right? Or against and with a Winston. Where is the free ult charge available when you're playing against an Ashe? I mean, this one should be pretty obvious, right? The free ult charge is Bob, okay? Now, what I mean by free ult charge is when you're putting out Bob, obviously Bob himself doesn't generate ult charge, right? So when you're shooting somebody with ult charge, with Bob, the damage that you do is feeding support ult charge. Do you see what I'm saying? So the way to exploit that, obviously, is if the fight is already won, the enemy team is no longer a threat, or Bob is no longer a threat. If I throw Bob out, and oh no, we lost the fight, the enemy Bob will feed your support's ult charge. So one of the things that you could do is if the fight's already won and Bob's no longer a threat, is to have somebody, preferably a tank, who won't accidentally die. Holy crap. Die to Bob, just take damage from Bob, because it's literally free support ult charge. Dynamite, it depends, like if she already has Bob, but I wouldn't like be like, oh guys, let's try and take as much damage from the enemy DPS, because the thing is like, the way to put it this way is that, like, not the way, it doesn't mean that, for example, if you already have ult, I don't recommend you just taking damage for no reason, especially if the fight's not already won, because damage is pressure, right? In other words, if the enemy team is damaging you, yes, it's free ult charge for your supports if they already have ult, the enemy team. However, them shooting you is also making you back up, and you might lose the fight trying to farm ult charge. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So anyway, Bob is a free source of ult charge. If the fight is already won and you don't need to worry about Bob, then try and take damage from Bob. Now, here's the thing. Can somebody confirm this for me? But temporary HP in Overwatch 2 now feeds ult charge, right? I'm looking this up right now. But it feeds reduced ult charge. Let's actually look at this right here. Is represented by a green health bar. Is a 50% reduced. Okay, so temporary HP provides 50% less ult charge. However, that does mean that the 70 HP that I just generated playing Doomfist here, when a Doomfist heals with his overcharge, he doesn't get ult charge for that. You guys kind of see what I'm saying? So like, if I slay him in as Doom,
this
oh my
might
gosh.
be stupid question and I'd how to word it, but how to think / stay focused when game.
Okay,
Maybe
well, we have to
ADHD
pause
thing,
now.
But I just struggle to be observant, like seeing most enemy cooldowns. I'm too distracted by all the other action and shooting things and my...
Okay, so first off, thank you for the 5,000 bits. Holy crap. I appreciate that very much. Let's talk about it then. So, chat, unfortunately, we're going to have to pause for a second because I think this is a good question. So, when we're talking about focus, how do I keep focused on endgame? So, here's the way to actually... I have a video on this as well that I'll send you. So, the way to look at focus is two ways, okay? One, you need to increase your ability to stay focused under pressure. Oh, okay. Thank you, Melting. So in other words, getting better sleep, standing up, getting rest between games. In other words, when you are between games, not just taking that time to aim, train, and VOD review. I know, although that sounds like that should be the thing you ought to do, you need to actually try and take the opportunity to reset your mental, to get your mind focused. Go get some water, go outside, touch grass, make sure that you're getting a lot of sleep, make sure that you're eating enough, make sure that you're not playing for too long, that you're playing intensely for short periods of time. You could practice building better focus by actually trying to be focused over long periods of time builds your focus better so that you're able to turn it on a dime, okay? So that's the number one thing, is to get better focus, you need to build a better pool of focus so that when you get into a game, you're more equipped to be focused, okay? That's one way of looking at it, all right? The second way of looking at it is to understand, another one as well, is I have like, I'm just gonna send you this video. I'm gonna post my video in the Twitch thing. But the other way of looking at it is that it's not about building your focused pool as much as it is giving yourself something specific to focus on. And the reason why I feel like that might be more for you is because the way you phrase the question, okay? How do I stay focused in the game? Maybe it's ADHD thing, but I struggle to be observant, like seeing most enemy cooldowns. I'm too distracted by all the other actions and shooting things in your ult charge. So it's not like you're just tuned out, not even paying attention to anything. You're paying attention to maybe the wrong things. Now, here's the thing. Overwatch League players are attuned to a lot of things at the same time, but a lot of the things that they're paying attention to aren't even things that they're thinking about. They just kind of know and do without thinking. For example, cover, right? They're not distracted by focusing on cover because most players in Overwatch League have cover usage just autopilot. They just do that without even thinking. So they're not focused on cover, they do it automatically, okay? Things like shooting things, their mechanics, right? They're not necessarily thinking about shooting things, they do that well automatically, right? Now, how you build the autopilot, the ability, is by focusing on a specific, I mean, this is the fundamentals of, everyone who's ever seen me give a coaching session knows that I talk about this, right? How you build those autopilot skills are by focusing on one thing at a time. So for you, your problem is you're too distracted. I can't track enemy cooldowns because I'm distracted by all the other action and shooting things and your ult charge. And right there in one sentence or sentence and a half, you said 4 things that you're trying to focus on. And let me be honest with you, it is not human, it is not reasonable to be able to focus on 4 things at once. Do you see what I'm saying? You cannot focus on your mechanics and focus on enemy cooldowns at the same time. Or if you do, you're not doing a very good job of it. So what you have to do is you have to pick the most relevant one or the one that you want to work on right now and disregard the rest until that skill that you focused on is something that you can actually focus on without trying as much. But keeping track of things is how you perfect timing, it seems. Correct. But that's why you shouldn't worry about perfect time right now. You should worry about whatever skill set you need to be better. I mean, this is why when I'm saying like the goal to get the GM, right? Let's say you have a goal to get to Grandmaster. You cannot play like a Grandmaster right now. You're just not good enough. And by not good enough, you don't have those skills autopiloted yet. You have to focus too hard on your mechanics to have good mechanics. You have to focus too hard on tracking cooldowns to know when and where you should be going. You have to focus too hard on ult charge. So what you need to do is you need to find one of those skills, practice it until you no longer have to think about it as hard to do it. And then pick on the next one and pick on the next one. Now the ADHD is going to be where you have to focus on one thing, but you keep slipping off and focusing on other things. Nope, come back. And that, I don't have an answer for you. That is just going to come with practice. That's going to come with, I have a suggestion in the video I just linked where I say you could set a timer to remind you to stay focused on that thing that you're working on. Don't get distracted with these other things. I know they're important, but right now we're focusing on just this thing, right? That's where we talk about, again, the sleep, taking the breaks between games to reset yourself, and also not focusing on something for too long because then it just gets boring, right? But really, truly, you have to be somewhat single-minded a little bit. Like, here's the thing, chat. You have to be single-minded to an extent to be able to track multiple things. Because if I'm working on developing any complicated sport or any complicated skill, a great example is basketball, right? If I'm an NBA basketball player, that basketball player is too busy thinking about the play that the coach called or the movement of or do you think they're thinking about hitting the shot? Do you think they're thinking about dribbling or their footwork? No, they can't. If they were, they'd forget about the play. Yes, it's about finding the most important thing for you to track, and then tracking that until you don't have to think about it as much. For example, when I'm playing Orisa, I actually don't think I'm not a very good Orisa player, but I'm above average. I've gotten better at her, and one of the ways I've gotten better at Orisa is I don't think as much about juggling my cooldowns. I've gotten a better job of just kind of feeling when I'm using my cooldowns correctly, and so I can focus on my mechanics and I can focus on my positioning and things like that. I'm not thinking about my cooldowns anymore as much. I don't play Fortnite, so I don't know. Yeah. So you really need to be able to like isolate things and specialize and isolate and specialize and isolate and specialize and isolate and specialize. And remember, the goal isn't to perfect that skill that you're focusing on. The goal is to improve it and then abandon it and focus on something else instead. Explain in Tetris terms, okay? So in Tetris terms, you're dropping the blocks one at a time and one at a time, one at a time. You have to think ahead, of course, but you also have to, in the moment, focus on the block that you have and where it needs to go, where it needs to be placed, right? It's the ability to hyper-focus on that one block and then quickly turn your brain off of that one block and onto the next block and then onto the next block. You can't linger in that. And it's the same thing as when you build a skill set. You focus intently on that block and then immediately onto the next one, and then immediately on the next one. Now in Tetris, you're thinking a little bit ahead, right? You're not always focused on that one block. However, when the block is on the way down, you still have to give it your full attention before moving on to the next block. Otherwise, you're going to start thinking ahead and misplace the block that you're on. So what you have to do is you have to be reasonable with yourself. You're not aiming for even good play. You're aiming for good practice at a skill. You might drop ranks because you're focusing on only one thing and letting the other aspects of your gameplay go, but that's learning. Explain in football terms, okay? So American football terms, whenever we're calling a play, right? We're calling a play. Again, if I'm a receiver running a route, going to run around and catch the football, I'm not thinking about my footwork. I'm not thinking about running fast. I'm probably not even thinking about catching the football. Usually I'm thinking about adjusting the route based off of the defender's movement. So a lot of receivers have to play the routes differently depending on the defender that they're playing against. So defender, where they have inside coverage, whether it's man-to-man, or whether it's zone. So when you're making these adjustments, you're not thinking about the mechanics or the details of the other things. That's what practice is for. You've practiced this elsewhere. When you're in the game, you're focused on one thing, and that's the play. Explain in math terms. Okay, so when we're learning a new skill set, for example, if I'm learning the quadratic formula, how many aspects of the quadratic formula are going on at once? Negative b plus or minus squared of b, right? There's a lot of things going on. B squared minus 4 all over 2a, right? However, if I threw in even an adult without a lot of mathematical experience into that problem and tried to explain all the different aspects of that formula and why it's important, there'd be complete confusion. You'd have to isolate what is a square root. What does all over 2a mean? What is a? What is x? What are variables? What does squared mean? What is 2a? 2 next to a variable means multiply. You need to go down the list and train and explain those individual concepts. Overwatch is a lot like the quadratic formula, where there's a lot of things happening at once. And so, yes, you can hit your head against the wall over and over again, and you will eventually figure it out. And that's usually what brand new players get. But at a certain point, especially when you spent a lot of time in the game, general smashing your head against the wall doesn't work anymore. You have to isolate and specialize. You have to isolate and specialize, preferably in the aspects that you're weak in your gameplay, or preferably in aspects that are important to the game itself, things like positioning and so on. As Unter would. Unter would say something really stupid, so I'm not going to explain it as Unter would. Explain it in relation to the American Revolution. So when it comes to the American Revolution, a lot of what made the American Revolution successful was, I guess, I wouldn't say the initial beginning of guerrilla warfare, but it's been around for a long time. But a lot of it was abusing the different local strengths, right? So for America, it was not so much about the battle, the war as a whole, but by winning the war, by winning individual battles through the surprise attack, through knowing the environment better than the British occupiers, and just the general coordination of a lot of different facets, right? So when you talk about why did America win? Well, America didn't win because they had the stronger army. America won because they won all of these many different skirmishes. And they knew the territory better, they knew the people better, they knew the situation better, they were better at communicating between themselves better. They didn't have the overwhelming army. So if America wasn't able to focus on each individual battle and each individual situation, they would never have been able to win the war. Right? There wasn't like a big clash, America versus Britain, brah, brah, brah. George Washington rips off his shirt, you know, it wasn't like that. It was a lot of little things that were isolated in one that led to bigger than the whole. And ultimately, the Revolutionary War wasn't won because America won. It's because Britain just gave up. It wasn't worth the investment at that point in time. It was too much. It was like having that. It was like having that. You know, the dog barking or a dog itching. It's like it's just not worth your attention anymore. Costs too much effort to deal with it. In terms of the popular story, the monkey's paw. Okay, so the monkey's paw. So the great thing about the monkey's paw is people putting the attention in the wrong place. People think they know what they want. They think they know what they need. And when it comes to the monkey's paw, you get what you want, but you don't actually get the way that you're supposed to think about it. So in other words, when you're playing Overwatch and you're looking to improve your game in Overwatch, you're thinking, I need to get better at this. And if I could do all of those things, then I can be better at Overwatch. And the funny thing is, chat, you're right. If you could focus on all of those things, you could get better. But when you ask for that, when you try to do that, where does that leave you? Where does that lead you? Nowhere. You do not get what you think you want. You get nothing. You get nothing. When you try and get everything, you get nothing. When you try and use a magical monkey paw to get your dreams result, right? Whatever you want, right? You don't actually want that. You think you know what you want, but you don't. And when you foolishly try to become the greatest Overwatch League player by practicing everything at the same time, you think that's what you're aiming for, but it's actually not. And that's what the whole monkey paw story is about, right? Is aiming for something, but by aiming for something perfectly and for something dreamy, you completely divert and you actually go backwards. I mean, think about what's happening right in chat, right? Look at this. Look at this. Miltank is getting burned out. Miltank doesn't even want to play the game anymore. It would honestly be better if Miltank wasn't even trying and was literally just playing the game. Because then, would they be practicing on one thing at a time? No, but at least they wouldn't be getting frustrated at themselves, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. I really encourage you to watch the video I linked in chat. That kind of sums it up because that's a very, very common question. It's a very important question. Let's keep going. So, regardless here, I think going back to the overhealth here, right? If I'm a Doomfist and I land an ability, the enemy team technically can generate free ult charge off of that. Now, I'm going chronologically, but this isn't that particularly important to know. It's a small amount of ult charge. It's a quote-unquote nerf to Doom because he doesn't get ult charge from the amount that he's healed. It's just fed to the enemy team. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's not super impactful, okay? So let's go back to spawn. And let's talk about the next hero. Why did I go to Ashe? Okay, let's start with D.Va then. D.Va, there's only one instance of free ult charge and it's super niche, so I think when I make the video, I'll probably do non-niche ult charge things. But technically, D.Va Bomb does not do, doesn't actually feed ult charge, right? So if I'm D.Va or if I'm playing versus a D.Va and we've won the fight and I'm like a Roadhog, I could tank a D.Va Bomb, or a Narissa, I can tank a D.Va Bomb, or maybe if I'm even like a tank without, like a Reinhardt, I can tank a D.Va Bomb at max range, and it's free ult charge, right? Because if they take damage from the bomb, D.Va doesn't get ult charge for that, right? And if you look, anything that didn't die to the D.Va Bomb that took damage, I don't think anybody took damage, okay? Anyway, that's free ult charge there, but that's super niche, but not particularly useful, okay? Jungle Queen is actually fairly particularly useful because again, remember we're talking about green HP, right? So look at this. Ah! That is free ult charge. That's free ult charge. Now, she gets 200 of it, And remember, ult charge is fed at a 50% lower rate. In other words, the temporary HP only feeds you 50%. So it's technically only 100 ult charge. But remember, it's also AoE too. So one of the weaknesses of Junker Queen, it's not a really big weakness, but it is something worth considering, is that Junker Queen should, in theory, give a ult charge advantage to the enemy team. For example, if I'm playing Diva and the enemy team is playing Junker Queen, the enemy DPS, the enemy tank, and even the enemy supports, if they're outputting damage, should be getting some free ult charge. You guys see what I'm saying? So, it's a lot like Doomfist, but it's a lot more significant than Doomfist because it's AoE and it's to everybody. Orisa, I mean, technically her ult doesn't do damage. It's free ult charge, so that's something to keep in mind, but that's not super impactful. Oh, here's another one for you. Okay, here's another one for you. Ramatra. Where's the instance of free damage with the Ramatra? Do you guys know? You should. In fact, it's a pretty significant one. Now, you have to be really careful with this one. Let's say the enemy Ramatra uses ultimate, and we kill his entire team, and it's just the Ramatra. Now, you have to be careful, because he's dangerous. But chat, this damage does not feed ult charge. So what you could do is you can stagger the enemy. I don't recommend this necessarily, but if you have the opportunity to, where you can keep the Ramatra at a distance and just like let him suck on your tank instead, where you can heal up. If the fight is won, Ramatra ult will continually feed you support ult charge. Oh, chat, my chat stopped scrolling. I missed the digestive system terms. Shoot, I missed that one. I literally stopped scrolling. I'm sitting here like asking questions and nobody's saying anything. I'm like, oh, awkward, dead chat. But it's actually just because I missed it. Okay, I'll have to do it some other time. But yeah, do you see this? It's free ult charge. Now, that doesn't happen very often, where you can have a Ramatra worth staggering. And also, he can kill your squishies if you're not careful. But it's worth noting. That's worth noting. How does green health ult charge feeding stack with the tank ult charge passive? I have no idea. Be aware of it, but I'm not running the numbers, so I have no idea. You'd think that I as a coach, would do that for you, but you would be wrong. Reinhardt, obviously, again, the Earth Shatter doesn't feed ult charge, but it doesn't really matter. Roadhog. Okay, so Roadhog is a relatively big one because, I guess it's not a relatively big one, but obviously Whole Hog doesn't feed ult charge, so that one's good to know. Nothing really there. Flux, again, free ult charge, but again, it's not exactly free. Primal's a little one. Like, when you build Primal, obviously the 1000 HP that he gets healed up from 0 or whatever he's at to 1000, you can damage him, and unless the supports heal him through it, then that's free ult charge for your team. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, not super significant, but something to consider. Wrecking Ball. So Wrecking Ball. Now, this was not the case in Overwatch 1. His adaptive shields feed, again, the 50% ult charge. Now, again, how does that work with the tank passive? Not sure, but it's free ult charge. Now, the careful thing you have to keep in mind is that I'm giving you guys these tips because they're interesting. However, that I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you guys shoot ball more. However, I will say that you do get some ult charge for shooting ball. You do get some ult charge for shooting ball. And the interesting thing to me... Alright, you guys want a conspiracy theory? Here's your conspiracy theory. Watch this one. I'm at least half joking with this one. What are the 3 current weakest tanks in Overwatch 2? What are the 3 weakest tanks? Arguable, but some of the weakest... Let's say, historically, what have been the 3 weakest tanks? Arguably, in that list, have usually been Ball, Junker Queen, and Doomfist. It's different points in time. Coincidentally, those are 3 heroes that give ult charge with the temporary HP. There's your conspiracy theory. It's certainly not doing those heroes any favors. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's the case, but something to keep in mind. Now, this is where things get more interesting. Zarya. Now, Zarya is very interesting because you're like, oh, grab does damage, but that doesn't matter. Zarya also doesn't get ult charge when she's during the grab animation. And here's the other really interesting thing about Zarya, okay? Now, you guys are going to notice this. It's not just the temporary HP that's worth noting. It's the shields. Do you see my blue HP here? Blue HP regenerates. Do you guys see that? It regenerates over time. Zenyatta, Zarya, and so on. Oh, Sigma as well. I forgot Sigma, okay? Regenerating HP like this does not feed ult charge. So there is lost ult charge if I don't get healing. And shields regenerate after what? About 2 seconds? Is this significant? No, but it's worth considering. Zarya players, if you can, try and let your supports heal up. Now here's a really, really weird trick. The way to balance this is, let's say you win the fight as Zarya, but your supports haven't healed you yet. And you want to feed maximum ult charge to your supports. Do you know how you make sure that you feed maximum ult charge to your supports? Oh shoot, I don't want to regenerate my shields. Damage myself. Now you won't get healing for the damage that you do to yourself, but the damage to yourself prevents your shields from regenerating for a period of time. Again, you don't get ult charge for the damage that you've done to yourself, but it prevents that 275 HP or whatever from the shields from regenerating. Okay? Very minor tip, but it is worth noting. We talked about Ashe. Bastion, again, ult doesn't feed ult charge, worth noting. Cassidy High Noon obviously doesn't give ult charge. I wouldn't necessarily recommend tanking High Noon though, so that one's definitely a no. Echo Copy, free ult charge. Genji, nothing really. Blade is obviously free ult charge, but again, a lot of these you have to keep in mind that it's technically free ult charge, but it's an ultimate, so I wouldn't just be like, all right, come on, hit me with your Blade, Genji, free ult charge for my supports. That's kind of absurd, right? Dragon is an interesting one though. So Dragon, because of its duration, is definitely one that you need to be aware of, okay? So the thing with Dragon is, like, obviously don't stand in Dragon. However, if you have won the fight, there is nothing wrong with taking damage from Dragon if the Hanzo wastes it. So, and the other thing about Dragon is, watch this. It kills you if you're a squishy. But do you see if I throw it at the edge, I've given the bot the chance to kind of dip in and out and take a little bit of damage from my supports. Now this is more for tanks, but if the Hanzo uses Dragon, you could definitely take damage from Dragon and feed your supports ult charge, as long as the fight has won. As long as the fight has won. So something to consider. Dragon, the nature of Dragon lasting a while is something that you can abuse for ult charge. Junkrat, don't really recommend. Blizzard, don't really recommend either. You do heal yourself when you're cryo freeze, so it's not ult charge stolen from your supports. Barrage, you gotta be really careful with Barrage. Reaper, Death Blossom, same thing, you gotta be careful with Reaper, Death Blossom. Sojourn E, maybe not really. Visor, no, not really. You do get ult charge for healing yourself. Okay, so one little thing with Sombra as well. So talking about ult charge, okay? Health packs do not give you ult charge. So here's the other big thing, chat. Obvious thing to know, but please, 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 especially if you're a tank, if the fight is over and there's no risk of you dying and there's no combat happening, do not take a health pack. Let your supports get ult charge. Now, you're going to have to ask me, so when do I take health packs? Well, whenever there's a fight happening or you need healing immediately, right? Health packs are very powerful. They do steal ult charge from your supports, but a lot of the time, especially mid-fight, your supports don't have time to heal you, so you need to take the health pack. However, if the fight is over, let your supports heal you up for free ult charge. Now, that being said, you guys might remember Overwatch 1. Hacked health packs gave Sombra ult charge in Overwatch 1, or did for a period of time. They do not anymore. All they do is they regenerate faster. Please do not utilize hacked health packs between fights when you could be feeding your supports ult charge. But mid-fight, definitely use hacked health packs because they allow you to get back in the fight that much faster. Okay? Symmetra, again, the shield thing like Zarya. If you take damage to Symmetra, there's a little bit of lost opportunity because the shields do heal you back up. So shields are a blessing and a curse. They curse your supports by feeding a little bit less ult charge, but they help Symmetra out a lot by allowing her to not demand healing. So I'm not saying shields are bad. Shields are great. They're a buff to the target, but they're balanced because they don't give your supports ult charge. Torbjorn, free ult charge. There you go. Temporary HP, yes, but free ult charge. Molten Core, is another huge thing to be aware of, because Molten Core, like Dragon with Hanzo, but even more so, is something that lasts a long time. So like, let's say you kill the Torb's team and you still see Torbolt. Especially if you're a tank. Walk into it, take some damage. Free ult charge for your supports. As long as you don't die and you're not in the middle of a fight, free ult charge for your supports. Very, 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 very important tip. Any ultimate with a duration that you can abuse when the fight's already won, definitely use it. Tracer, I don't believe she gets healed for recall. So if I take damage with the recall, let me actually double check this. I'm 99% certain she doesn't take damage. She doesn't heal for recall. I might be wrong with that though. Let's test this. 34, 35, here comes 36. Yeah, so she doesn't heal herself for recall, but it's relatively minor, so it's not super significant. Oh yes, let's go back. So Hammond's Mines. So I almost totally forgot. Hammond's Mines was one of the original ones I was thinking of. So this is a lot like the Torbolt, right? This is a lot like the Dragon Strike, okay? Please, if the fight is already won and you are playing versus a Hammond, especially if you are a tank, Squishy's got to be really careful because you could die to it, right? Please take damage, from Hammond Mines, because that is free ult charge and a lot of it for your support. So if this fight's already won and there's just a couple of mines lying around, walk into the mine. Take the damage, free support ult charge. What is it, about 120 chat? 150? Right? Free ult charge. Now, if you're Squishy, please be careful. Keep it also in mind that they boop you. So you're like, I'm gonna walk into a mine, chat. Boing, bong, 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 bong. Right? And you end up dying. But it's free ult charge for your support. So that's another instance of free ult charge. Okay? Let's select a new hero here. Widowmaker, there's nothing free about her, really. I mean, she obviously doesn't get ult charge when she's shooting infrasites, but I'm not recommending you to take damage during infrasites. Okay, so this is interesting. So, support heroes. Very much like shields, you have the 10 HPS, I think it's 10 HPS, maybe it's 15 HPS, of self-healing after a period of time. I don't actually know how much it is. Either way, you have your self-healing after a period of time, okay? So I take damage, I step to the side, and then I start healing back up again. That's not ult charge. So, what I'm saying is this is a very, 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 very powerful thing to utilize. However, if you are low as Ana, and the fight and your other support isn't busy healing anybody else, or the fight's won, or you're safe, do try and let your other support heal you, because like, look right here. That's 161 healing right there that I could offer my support rather than letting the passive kick in. So that's a minor thing, but it is something worth being aware of for supports. Okay, let's keep going. Other instances of free ult charge, obviously BAP window. Any damage done by the BAP window is free support ult. Now here's a really interesting one as well. And again, this isn't super useful, but it's good to know. Is that when I build Rally, eventually, and actually it might be better to build Rally on the bots over here because I can heal as well. When I build Rally, the temporary HP that I give to my team is, shockingly, free ult charge. Right? Makes sense, right? Because it's all green for everybody around me, and I'm not getting ult charge for that green healing. It's because it's not healing, it's overhealth, right? Oh, that was terrible. So, here it comes. All this green HP that my teammates are getting is free ult charge. Now, again, is that something super significant? Is that going to change how you play? No, but it's good to know. And I will also point out that it's yet another hero with green HP who's weak. Right? Kind of funny. Let's keep going. Because we're getting very close to the only example of literally free ult charge mid-fight in the game. Kiriko ult. Take damage from Kiriko ult. I don't recommend it. Beat is overhealth, right? So when I'm talking about, when I'm talking about beat, right? Obviously, beat takes a while to build, but if you do shoot the beat, that is free ult charge. Again, not super useful to know, but it's nice to know. So when I eventually build my beat, that is free ult charge for my team. So, or for the enemy team. So like, look, all this damage that's being done to myself and the enemy team is free ult charge. It's reduced because it's temporary HP, but it is ult charge. Moira, Coalescence, free ult charge. Transcendence obviously doesn't feed ult charge either, but nothing super significant here. Now, here's the really, really, really interesting thing, okay? Now, this, ladies and gentlemen, is really important. And this was actually the first example that this was the reason why I wanted to make this video, actually. Is damage boost. Now, people talk about one of the aspects of damage boost balance, the break points, and things like that. And that's all reasonable, and we're going to talk about that more with SKSD next week. However, one underrated aspect of Mercy that's not talked about is, to my knowledge, outside of the ultimates and the temporary HP, damage boost is the only example of free ult charge in Overwatch. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me explain to you. There's two ways of getting ult charge in the game. There is damage you do or healing you do. Okay? It could be healing on your teammates. It could be healing on yourself. All right? So when I'm damaging this person, I get ult charge for it. When I'm healing this person, I get ult charge for it. The enemy team gets ult charge for damaging my target, and to balance it out, I also get ult charge for healing the damage that they're doing. Now, this is where it gets weird, because damage boost is a multiplier of this person's damage. Directly. It's not like Zenyatta's Discord, where it's a mark that I put on a target that helps enemies do it, because I don't get ult charge for Discord. I do get ult charge for damage boost. Now, this is the crazy part. Let's say that this bot's damage is doing 10 damage per bullet, okay? Let's just say that he's getting 10 ult charge, not 10%, but 10 ult charge per shot. When I damage boost for, 30%? He's now doing 13 damage per shot. Now, here's a question for you. Am I getting ult charge for that damage boost? Or is the target who's doing the extra damage getting the ult charge for the damage boost? Think about it. He's doing 13 damage. So does he still get the ult charge of 10? Or does he get 13? Chat, it's both. It's both. He gets extra ult charge for being damage boosted, as if he was doing the 13 damage himself. But also, I get it for the percentage that I'm boosting. It's literally free ult charge. It's disproportionate ult charge. In other words, his team gets the healing off of the target ult charge. He gets the damage ult charge, so they counter each other out. But I'm just the third party in here getting magical ult charge like mana from the sky for damage boosting. So as long as you're not damage boosting in Valk, now because Valk doesn't feed you ult charge, right? If I'm just damage boosting, period, it's literally free ult charge for you and your team. Now, we could talk about Mercy being broken and whether Mercy's balanced. But it is very interesting, and this is why damage boost is so important, because it's not just about the utility of the hero, right? It's also just so happens to be literally free ult charge. So if you want to get your team ahead in the ult game without talking about winning or losing fights, not just, oh, we get the ult first because we pooled our resources into one player. Just percentage-wise, everybody has more ult because of damage boost. So, for example, if you had a massive damage boosted dynamite, you get a lot of ult charge because you put out the dynamite. Let's say you got 40%, 30%. The enemy supports get the heal all that, so they get 15% each. But then there's Mercy on the side that's like, I also got like 15%. Thanks, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Crazy. So if I were to say like the most impactful examples of knowing how ult charge works, I think knowing that, for example, knowing to take damage off of Hammond Mines if the fight is already won is really, really important. Knowing to take damage off of Bob, knowing to take damage off of Dragon Strike, knowing to take damage off of Torbjorn ult if the fight is already won is really, really, really important to know, okay? Knowing things like Sombra hacked health packs don't feed ult charge, and just in general, guys, try not take health packs when the fight's already won, right? If you can stabilize and let your supports heal you up, that's better. In mid-fight, please take health packs, because you waiting for supports to heal you instead of doing damage is bad. And then obviously the Mercy damage boost. That's why damage boost is so strong. It's literally free ult charge for both, for the Mercy, right? It's literally free ult charge. And then obviously it's interesting. It's good to know things like Beat, Doomfist temporary shields, Junkrat temporary shields, or Junker Queen temporary shields, are free ult charge. Not very high, but are free ult charge. And then it's also kind of helpful to know for heroes like Zarya, for heroes like Sigma, and even heroes like Symmetra and Zen with shields, that the self-healing isn't ult charge. So if you can allow your support to heal you up during that without compromising your ability to fight, that's helpful. But yeah, those are the main ones I think for me. Do you guys have any other ones that I might have missed? Is me dealing 100 damage the same value that anything that healing the 100 damage is ult-wise? Well, remember, ultimates have different costs. So some cost 2,000 points, some cost 1,500 points, some cost 2,700 points. But in terms of the raw point value itself, yes, it's the same. Temporary HP doesn't give ult charge. The green HP does, yes. It just at a 50% reduced rate. Stalfos, Mercy only gets part of the credit for the damage done. So she doesn't get the full 13, but she does get, I mean, you could look at it here, right? Obviously, it's a friendly bot. It's not exactly the epitome of damage output. But look at my ult charge right here. It doesn't go up by much because it's a low damage target, but watch. Right? Just a little bit. And with higher damage heroes, it's even more. Doesn't Orisa get green health and fortify? Oh, yes, true. Great point. I actually almost forgot that one. So yeah, Orisa as well, when she fortifies and when she uses her ultimate, that 125 HP is also free ult charge as well. It's 50% reduced rate, and obviously it's a very strong cooldown, but good to know. Ramatra extra armor from form change. Great call. I almost forgot that one as well. When Ramatra swaps form, look at 450, 675. That armor is free ult charge. That is self-healing, but not actually self-healing. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't get ult charge for transitioning form, and you do get ult charge for shooting him. So it's technically free ult charge there as well. A lot of the tank's abilities are free ult charge if you consider them, but they end up not having massive impacts. It's just good. It's just interesting to know. Did I miss anything else, guys? I guess, does Bastion get? No, Bastion just gets the damage reduction. I think that's it. I mean, Torbjorn, obviously his change as well. Yeah, that's true, Stalfos. Yeah, good point with Valk. But I think the most important ones to know are the taking damage from Mines, Bob, Dragon Strike, Torbolt. Making sure to avoid taking health packs mid-fight, and then obviously damage boost is OP because it's literally free. Not OP, but it's strong because it's literally free ult charge. Green health from Sigma suck. Oh yeah, great catch there. So it used to be that the suck from Sigma didn't give you any ult charge because it was generated from this, but technically this is free ult charge too, right? You see that tiny little sliver there? It's reduced green health, but it is ult charge. Yeah, great point. A lot of tanks have temporary HP ones. The ones that benefit from it the most or rely on it the most are definitely Ball and Junker Queen, with Doomfist a close one in there as well. But yeah, that feeds ult charge now. And it's a small thing, but it definitely makes like Sigma mirrors in Overwatch 2 it more attractive to shoot the Sigma when he has a ton of HP, because you're still going to get a little bit of ult charge out of it. It used to be that it was a waste of time because it was just going to expire anyway, you know? Is shooting armor less ult charge than regular health? No, it's just reduced damage, so indirectly it's less ult charge. So in other words, if I'm shooting a Reinhardt, my bullet that does 10 damage will do 7. So I don't get as much ult charge as shooting something else, but I do get 7 ult charge, right? I don't get less than 7. I just get the reduced amount, right? So how much damage you do to the target is how much ult charge that you get to the target. So things like Discord, damage boost, BAP window will accelerate your ult charge. However, damage boost is the only one that actually gives the target damage boosting you ult charge as well. BAP window is an ult, doesn't give Baptiste ultimate. Orisa Bongo back in the day didn't give Orisa ultimate, obviously. Discord doesn't give Zenyatta ultimate charge. Damage boost is the only example of that actually giving the target damage boost. Or ult charge. But little discussion. Like I said, maybe not the most impactful thing, but I think it's more of a theoretical discussion about like why certain abilities and why certain balancings can be tricky. For example, like Junker Queen, how rough is it for Junker Queen that her main power spike is free ult charge? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. Like if you, and especially if you consider it from like, let's say a Junker Queen brawl versus a Pharah, right? Pharah has AoE damage. So if Pharah hits a rocket and does like 300 damage because of the AoE hits on multiple targets and all of its temporary HP, her supports get none of that. Junker Queen supports get none of that 300 damage. It's 150 because of the 50% reduction, free ult charge for the Pharah. You know what I'm saying? Now it's balanced through the strength of the ability, but it's just worth something. It's something worth considering. I don't know. I love talking about stuff like this. I don't. Maybe it's a little bit nerdy, but it's kind of. I just find it very interesting, and that's why I think things like inherently broken are just like catchphrases that don't make any sense. Because there's a lot of things in Overwatch that are weird, are inherently broken, or break the rules, or don't seem to make sense. Like, how is it balanced that me, Junker Queen, using my defensive ability gives you ult charge for free? That's not balanced, right? You kind of see what I'm saying? You can make an argument with about anything. But yeah, okay. Chat, loves and kisses. I'm going to have to end stream here. It's been good. This Saturday, we'll probably do some Ask Spylo. We'll do a couple of haha, nerd. Shut up. We'll do a couple of, we might do a coaching session or two. We'll do Ask Spylo. Maybe we'll do something else. But like I said, next Tuesday is Skiesti. The Tuesday after, we're going to be collabing with Jake Overwatch. And then, yeah, we'll have some other stuff planned. We'll do another raffle review next week, too. I really enjoyed doing the raffle review. So if you guys are interested in getting coaching and you want to toss your hat into the barrel, we'll be doing it. And obviously, for people who have already won the raffle review, we'll mix it up. But yeah, okay. Yeah, nerds rule the rule. Loves and kisses. Yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you guys on Saturday. !coaching! !your mama. And I'll see you guys later. See you, Chase.